minutes. If you have not followed his Triple H Horse Racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.
Good morning here in the United States, and welcome to episode 240 of the HHH Racing Podcast, as we are covering the fantastic last four races at Meydan Racecourse. It is Dubai World Cup Day. Welcome to the show. Please make sure you subscribe on the bottom right-hand side of the screen. And after you do that, hit that notification bell and also smash that like button. We'd really appreciate it. That'll tell YouTube this is a great show. We're going to take care of all other particulars later. We have 10 minutes to the next race, was the Dubai Golden Shaheen, a 6-furlong dirt sprint. And I'd like to welcome on once again our great friend, our fantastic guest, and unbelievably good punter from the UK, Mr. Davy Lane. Davy, how are we doing today?
Good afternoon, Howard. Good morning, Howard. How are you? It's been a difficult morning in Meydan for a lot of people, including me. Most of my bets are sliding down, but one of them is still kicking on. So we'll see how it goes. I had a very close each-way double, almost hit with in the first two legs, and the sprint. I think everyone was hit by the sprint. 77-1 on the tote, I think it was.
Yes, unbelievable. And then Dermo Sadagake, the next Kentucky Derby winner, according to everyone on Twitter. All of a sudden, this horse has a great chance to win the Derby. He was impressive. It was a very good time. He went wire to wire. We'll see, but he is going to the Derby. So interesting story there. Davey, we only have approximately 10 minutes to post for, actually less than that, about 7 minutes to post to our first race. And for everyone, just to set the table for everyone watching here in the States and worldwide, due to contractual obligations and copywriting, we cannot actually show the video of the races we're going to be talking about, but we are going to be watching the races live and commentate as the race goes on live. As you're watching this YouTube show from home, we are probably about 5 or 6 seconds behind the actual race. So when we say and they're racing, or when they leave from the gate, they've already left the gate for 4 or 5 seconds. And you at home are going to see them cross the wire a little bit before we do. So we understand all that. We got a lot to talk about. We have a ton of people watching right now, Davey, and a lot of comments, but let's get to all that later. Let's go right to our picks. You're going to see our picks are on the bottom of the screen for the Dubai Golden Shaheen. I'm also going to bring up the United States past performances right now, Davey, and we can talk about our top picks. This is 6 furlongs. This is a $2 million race. Let me go ahead and make this a little bigger. You are going to go, we're both actually going to go with a very talented horse from Japan who's been rocking it out right now, the number 5, Lemon Pop, and he leaves from, now again, the gate numbers are not the same as the post. We'll get all that information for you right now as I switch. Lemon Pop is going to be in blue colors, leaving from the gate number 6, but he is saddle cloth number 5 right now. 3-1 on Ladbrokes. About that throughout the world right now. Davey, what is it you like about Lemon Pop in this race?
Well, one of the major things you have to like about Lemon Pop is that he's drawn well. And perhaps if I'm being a conspiracy theorist, I would have to say that the Dubai people made sure he got drawn well. I mean, this is an inside joke between a lot of people, but this wasn't drawn out of a marble with a bagger and so on. So he's got a great draw, but that aside, he's a horse that's he's beaten all the best horses over a mile, and that's the edge of his distance. And the connections are talking about him really being a 6-furlong horse, and he's running and not run any 6-furlong races in Dubai at that Group 1 level, because there aren't really any over the dirt for him. So he's here now, and he's a contender. I mean, the good horses he beat last time, including Red Lizelle, who ran second here last year. I mean, he'd won the race by the time it was almost 6 furlongs, 6.5 furlongs. So he could run away with the race. Jockey looking comfortable in the race.
Davey, let me just show everyone the pick 4 starts in this race. It's a very popular bet, of course, here in the States. I'm going to show our pick 4s very quickly for everyone who's watching or interested. It's a 50-cent bet. Davey's pick 4 is 2, 3, 5, 10, 11, 13, with 2, 6, with 6, 7, with 1, 8, 13. You see it on the screen. It's a $36 ticket. It does start, ladies and gentlemen, in this race. So you see his ticket there. I'll give everyone another 10 seconds to write that down. If people would like 2, 3, 5, 10, 11, 13, with 2, 6, with 6, 7, with 1, 8, 13. Here's my pick 4. My pick 4 is 2, 3, 5, 10, 11, 13, with 2, 7, 8, 11, 12, with 7. That's Equinox, with 1, 4, 8, 14. That is a $60 ticket. There is my pick 4 play. Again, 2, 3, 5, 10, 11, 13, with 2, 7, 8, 11, 12, with 7, with 1, 4, 8, 14. Davey, you've got Hopkins in second. This is a Bob Baffert horse who's very talented, and he's got a very good post here. I believe he's got the, let's see, he's in the 5 hole right next to Lemon Pop. Should be able to sit right off the speed with Frankie Dettori.
Yeah, the track is fast, and the horses on the speed have been winning. The races have been going off early because of Ramadan, and this should be the case for this. There should still be another heat in the track. So the 2 horses that I put up in my 6, drawn wide, Sound Money and Gunite, you've got to wonder, have they got a chance? So you narrow it down to 4 horses: Hopkins, Lemon Pop, Switzerland, and Sibelius for me. And Hopkins being the Baffert horse with a great draw, he has to be the biggest threat to Lemon Pop.
I'm using. You've also got the number 13 in there, and what you're looking, folks. This is by post position, so that's why the numbers. Is that Switzerland number 13? Yes, 13 is Switzerland. This is an incredible horse, Davey. This is a 9-year-old who does not run often. Won this race. Last year. Won this race last year. I think this is a better addition, but he won his prep easily. He should sit a nice trip. I think he's got a shot again.
He's got a shot again, and he's got a great draw. If he'd been drawn outside like the other horses, no. But they've saved him for this, and he's looking good. He's in training. He's looking good on the track work. So he's got to have a chance in the draw. But I think Lemon Pop and Hopkins are the hot 2.
Davey, Switzerland is around 7-2 over in your neck of the woods. I don't know if that kind of betting you have in the market here in the States. He is 10-1. Do you want me to put a win bet on him, Davey?
No,
he's 10-1.
No, not a win bet. No.
Okay.
No.
I like. They're going to be going to the post very soon. I've got Gunite. I think he's going in second. Gunite is going to be much better on the outside. I talked about this last month. He's a very quality horse. I think the outside is going to suit him better than being in behind horses. I don't think he takes dirt real well. So I think this is going to work out well. And I've got Sound Money as an interesting horse. This horse used to be in the States. Now he's trained by Bupat Simar. He won his the Group 3 prep for this. I know it was a much weaker field, but I think he can improve. I think he's a bit interesting. So I'm going 5-11, but there's a lot of horses, Davey, I would use in this race.
Yeah, and he gets the best dirt rider in Meydan in Dubai in Mikel Barcelona, so that's a great plus. But he's drawn 11, and Gunite, even with he's got Gaffleone, he's drawn 13. It's very, very difficult the way the track is playing for those horses to get over and win, particularly when you've got Hopkins and Lemon Pop and Sibelius and Switzerland, all right there, right? So
absolutely.
I'm playing it on the percentages with the draw, to be honest.
Davey, if you could look at the screen you're looking at, I just want to compare. Right now, what I'm watching, they're starting to go into the gate.
Perocho just went in the gate. Okay, that's where I am. And now the 4 horses going in. That'll be 2s with
okay.
Tiger.
So I think you're a little bit ahead of me. I don't see again obviously we're watching different videos. So if you're a little bit ahead of me, Davey, obviously don't. Right now, the 3 is going to the gate for me.
Me too. And
okay, so we're about the same then. It looks like the international feed might be the same. So I'm not gonna commentate, but I'll talk a little bit about the race. They are almost all in the gate for the Golden Shaheen, the first race of our podcast. Let's see if Gunite can do it, Switzerland, Hopkins, or possibly the superstar from Asia, Lemon Pop.
Okay, they're all in.
Okay, they're almost all in for me here. So you're a little bit. Yep, they're all in now, and here we go. I will have sound also.
Yeah, they're off.
The sound is for me. You don't hear the sound at home, folks.
Yeah.
It looks like Sibelius on the inside got a pretty good break here, Davey.
Yeah, he did. He's riding him hard. Looking.
It looks like Hopkins has the lead here, Davey. The three Hopkins in those teal colors has the lead. Gunite's sitting 3 wide, a very comfortable trip right now. In between horses is the 11, who is out. Not sure who that is. I'm sorry. That's Sound Money. Right now, it's Hopkins, Sound Money, American-based horses, 1, 2, 3 right now. Hopkins has the lead. Gunite is 3 wide and moving on the outside. They are in mid-stretch. It is still Hopkins. Here comes Gunite. He's on the wrong lead. Up on the inside is the 10. Closing is the 12. That's 11. I'm not sure who that is. Sorry. You've got Gunite trying to hold on. Looks like it's going to be the 12 up the inside. Woo.
Switzerland. Is it?
It's Switzerland or Sibelius. Sibelius was up the inside. I think Switzerland was on the outside, Davey. It's very close here.
Yeah.
Really close. Again, I apologize, folks. I'm trying to watch and speak and listen to Larry Coleman at the same time. Yeah, Sibelius, Davey, we talked about this horse. You and I talked about this horse, Davey, yesterday. I liked him a little bit. He's an up-and-coming horse. I didn't think he could rate and finish. But he came up the inside. They're showing the slow-mo. This is very tight, Davey.
Yeah, Sibelius has got it.
Davey's calling Sibelius. I think he's correct.
Yeah, Sibelius.
Wow, I think Sibelius gets the job done. From Davey, the rail, we have to say, I think it's fair to say now, the rail is very good. There's 2 speed horses that have won before today. Yeah. Sibelius wins on the rail. I don't think you want to be wide, although Switzerland did come from behind and did make a wide move. I can't give enough credit to Switzerland, Davey. I mean, he's a 9-year-old. All this horse does is run. It's unbelievable.
Well, he was in the States before he came to Dubai, and often he didn't run. He was an expensive purchase, wasn't he? So we got to remember that. I mean, all these horses around the world. It's not like they've they're not like unknown quantities. A lot of people lost a lot of money on Switzerland over the years in the US, I'm sure,
It is not official. It's going to be, it looks like it's going to be Sibelius. We believe Switzerland second. I was looking for Lemon Pop. Did you see Lemon Pop?
No, he got crushed between horses and it went too fast for him. So I got that well wrong, but I was keen on Sibelius. It was in the play. And Switzerland also.
Sibelius, I see in the States 8-1. Let me see what it looks like. He's bigger than that. It's about 8-1. It looks like about 8-1. Excuse me, on Sibelius. It looks like, and these. I'll tell you what. Hopkins also ran a nice race. He went to the lead.
Who finished third, Howard? Who finished third?
2 finished third. That would be Gunite. So it's going to be So Sibelius is the winner. Is that correct, Davey?
Correct. I haven't seen the confirmation, but it looked like it to me.
Yes, it's Sibelius, Sibelius, Switzerland, and Gunite. So it's going to be, I believe, 10, 12, 2, I believe. I believe it's 10, 12. Yes. Excuse me, 10, 13, 2. If that was the 13, was that Switzerland?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 10, 13, 2 is the result of the Golden Shaheen. Davey, what a ride by Frankie Dettori.
Yeah. Well, by Ryan Moore, sorry.
Or Ryan Moore, excuse me.
Yeah. Well,
very impressive. This is a 5-year-old by Not This Time, who's a younger sire here in the States, out of a pulpit mare. Jeremiah O'Dwyer, a younger trainer here, wins. The owner is obviously Asian connections. Davis horse has now won 3 in a row. And here in the States, we're sort of looking for someone to challenge elite power in the sprint division. I think we might have found someone, Davey.
Yeah, well, he broke a track record or a stakes record on the ship beforehand. And I think I mentioned to you at the time that horse had a Dubai entry, and you had to watch that. And I played the horse at like 2-1. before he came over, and it was like it was like taking money from a candy from the bookie at that moment, But from the baby
Davey,
side, yeah.
Yeah, let me get some comments, and we got a lot of people watching. We really appreciate everyone watching. Let's see. Trish Smith is here. Loves Switzerland. Switzerland ran absolutely huge. We got Mark Youngman is here. Mark, thanks for joining the show. Tom Espinoza, correct. Sibelius wins. I've got him to start my pick 4, so that's a good way for me to start the pick 4 at 8-1. Let's see. We've got Christine Race, thank you very much. I've got a nice ticket started. I do need Equinox single, Davey, but I feel pretty good about that single. Let's see. We got Michael Osen is here. We got a lot of people. Again, if you are, we got Derek is here. Derek, long time no talk. Thanks for being here. Let's see. We got David Lupo is here. We got a lot. Michael Osen is here. Again, please comment down below the video player. We'd love to hear your comments down below the video player. We'd also love to hear your comments in the chat. Davey, I don't know if they're showing the replay. They're not going to show the replay right now. Just quick thoughts, and then we're going to talk about the next race. Lemon Pop, obviously very disappointing. I don't know if Red Lizelle made a move late. I was focusing on the top 3. It was really a lot of the Americans up front, and then Switzerland closed. I didn't see a lot of running from behind.
Well, the interesting thing was Ryan Moore made a big push from the gate, and then his horse he must have had a second wind, because Colmus wasn't calling the horse down the stretch at all. Well, I had the sound muted, but I mean that horse was in 4th, and it wasn't. Or let's put it another way: you weren't calling the horse down the stretch. He was down on the inside. He was out of it, and then he just came. So Ryan Moore clearly, talented jockey. He knows his horse. He knows it.
They're showing the replay now. Interestingly enough, Hopkins was also on the wrong lead. Red Lizelle did make a nice move up the inside, Davey. I'm just watching the replay. Red Lizelle was coming on late. I think he might have gotten 5th, so he did come on late. I apologize to everyone. It's tricky because, of course, the saddlecloth numbers are not the same as the post. And what I need to do, Davey, is look on my phone where I've got them in numeric order so I can see who's who. I'll do a much better job next time. So I apologize for that's why I didn't want to call too much and just allow everyone to watch. All right, Davey, let's go on. Well, let's take care of a few particulars first, if you don't mind, Davey, because there's a lot of things I'd like to show and discuss because we have a lot of people watching. First of all, again, welcome to the HHH Racing Podcast. For those of you who are not familiar, this is one of the hottest shows on YouTube. We've been around for a little over 2 years. We have live shows on the weekends. We also have shows on during the week as well. So check us out, hhhracingpodcast.com. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor as well. We have very popular tip sheet called Power Picks. Look below the video player. They are only $4 every Saturday. Davey, I think it's really best if you talk about it because, of course, I'm going to promote it. But you've been a fan of the Power Picks and a subscriber for a long time. Why don't you tell the viewers very quickly the benefits of our weekly Power Picks?
Well, the benefits is that they're thorough and they give you prices. And anyone can tell you a favorite, but it's harder to find someone at a price. And this is basically your wheelhouse. 3 races from 3 selections from 2 cards generally. So 6 horses, 6 plays every Saturday, price plays. And as well as ABC grids.
Yeah. If people are interested in playing pick 4s and pick 5s or quaddies, we also have horizontal plays as well, Davey.
Yeah, exactly. And as far as I can see, these are, you've got the exact percentages, but these things are, if they're not winning, they're coming in very close. And it's for someone overseas, it's great for an each way play like myself. I can put an each way parlay together using your price plays, and it's an excellent cash machine.
Thanks, Davey. I know you've cashed a lot of people. You have returned the favor and cashed for a lot of people here on the HHH Racing Podcast. If you're familiar with Davey in the chat, a little shout out for Davey Layden coming on today. I'm sure he's going to give us some wonderful ideas as we go along. We've had In the pick six, by the way, Davey, which you and I played along with Philip Edwards, we put a few shekels in. The first three legs are 77-1,
Yeah.
6-1, and 8-1. We did have we did have Sibelius. Davey, I would not be shocked if 4 out of 6 pays. We'll have to see. There's a long way to go here, but if anyone has the pick, if anyone's alive to the pick six, good on you, because it's been very difficult so far.
Yeah.
We also have a wonderful website, hhhracingpodcast.com. If you, again, whether you're familiar with it or not, the traffic has been going up and up. I highly recommend everyone check out the hhhracingpodcast.com website. It's very thorough, run mainly by Pete Visco. We really appreciate it. All right, now, Davey, as we progress to the next race, race 7, you see our picks on the bottom of the screen. We are also going to show some replays. I have some video replays lined up as well to help the bettors and punters at home make some decisions. But we'll show replays as we talk about the race. You and I think it's fair to say this next race, Davey, there's a horse here that you and I absolutely love that we have to talk about. And I'm trying to see, we haven't flipped over in the States here to what the odds are. Yes, I think it just flipped over. I'm seeing 5-2. So the horse that we like was much higher morning line, and he's being bet down. And I have not looked to see. We'll get to the horse in a second. I'm just trying to see right now what it looks like the overseas market is.
I can give you the market right now. Do you want to give you the market?
Sure. Let's go ahead. Let me go ahead and bring up. Right now, give me a second, please, Davey. I'm going to go ahead and bring up our screen here. Okay, so this is actually off of Ladbrokes, but Davey, you have a more effective market. Why don't you go ahead and tell us the horses at the top of the market? Excuse me, for the Dubai Turf. This is a mile and an eighth, $5 million.
Okay, right now, the favorite is the 12 horse Severus, Japanese horse, a miler. Generally, not really gone over a mile. In second favorite, 9-2, Lord North, and third favorite, 7-1, Danon Beluga. Okay, 11 horse Real World is 8-1, Master of the Seas 9-1, Nation's Pride, folks in the States will know, 9-1, and then out further in the market, we've got a 12-1 Junko and 20-1 bar the rest. So they're the prices. So this is a good chance to hit some tries and hit some money, really, I think,
Yeah. Now, this is good. The prices on the screen are pretty similar to what you have. Now, in the States, Davey, it's quite different. And again, these can obviously change. Let me go ahead and those are the PPs for the race, which we're going to go through in a minute. Right now, Davey, I've got Danon Beluga is 3-1 right now in the States. So bet much lower. Doe Deuce is scratch, by the way. That was a big scratch. In second right now in the market here in the commingled pool is Seraphos at 7-2, who's the 12. And then you got Nation's Pride, who, as you mentioned, people here know in the States, at 6-1, along with Lord North at 6-1. Order of Australia, I'm chuckling, is to me a ridiculous 7-1 right now in the States. Should be much higher. And then Junko is at 15. So, Davey, let's get into the analysis. So we're going to show some replays as well. The horse that you and I like quite a bit is Danon Beluga. You see 15-1 morning line. We're not getting anything anywhere near that price. I also have some replays that I'd like to show. This is a very talented, newly turned 4-year-old with the Magic Man, Jao Moreira, in the saddle.
Right. It's a horse that's ran in all the top races in Japan. It's been a winner at the trip, but then it's had a bit of what Paul Halloran would call that sort of similar thing in Japan, where it tries to take the big classics in Japan, the middle distance classics, and it's come close, but it's been no cigar. So when I say come close, it almost hit the Japan Cup. It was badly interfered with in the Japan Cup. It could have done that. Yeah. And it was a length and a quarter third to Equinox in the Tenno show. So it's been right there in the wheelhouse. It's got a multifaceted pedigree. There's Sunday Silence in there. There's an ARC winner from 1988 in there, and on the underside there's a great sprint pedigree. Deja is in there as well. So it's speed and stamina. So it's everything you'd want from a horse.
Davey, I think it would be really appropriate right now to show the two replays that I wanted to show of Dana and Beluga. We're going to show his last two runs, just the end. We're going to show the Tenno show where he was very close to Equinox, came from the clouds. And we're also going to show the Japan Cup where he steadied in late stretch and was bothered. Otherwise would have run even a closer race. So the first race that we're going to show replay is going to be right here. This is the Tenno show. And I'm going to go ahead and start it. Dana Beluga is going to be on the inside in red. He's going to finish third. Let me pause it. This right here is Panthalassa, Davey. Of course, we all know Panthalassa, who just won the Saudi Cup. This is Panthalassa with a ridiculously big lead. And for those of you that are not familiar with Asian racing or European racing, this 4 right here, that is the 400 mark, correct, Davey? So that's this is the 2 furlongs. This is the quarter pole, actually, right here. Dana Beluga is right here. If you guys can see my arrow, right? Let me go full screen here, Davey. Dana Beluga is right here in this red, going to be closing up the inside. And right here in blue is a monster called Equinox, who you and I love in the next race in the Shima Classic, which is a $6 million race going a mile and a half. But talk about Dana Beluga coming to the inside, making a big run here, Davey.
Well, what you have to see here is that this is a race that's probably above his distance, but he's got a kick. Look at the kick. You know, he's pulling it in, and he closes, and he almost hits Panthalassa for second, and almost gets the first. But for a horse that's just gone a mile and a half, that's a tremendous kick that he has. And he's dropping back in distance to a distance 9 furlongs that he's won at before. It fits on every level. They booked Joe Moreira, and that's interesting. Also, Moreira he's retiring this year. Apparently, he had some hip injury. He also had some issues with Hong Kong. He tried to leave Hong Kong about 3 or 4 years ago and go to Japan, but he failed his Japanese classes. I would have a seeking suspicion that he may unretire himself at some point, because I would think he'd be in Brazil where he's been racing on quietly, taking Japanese lessons. I would predict that, next year he unretires himself and shows up in Japan after passing his Japanese test. That's just my sneaking suspicion, because he's popping up on some good Japanese horses. So I don't know. I like how they've connected the two a lot.
That would be interesting. He might stick around, Davey, just for this horse. Now, let's show the other replay here. He's the 14 right here. This was the Japan Cup, against Vela Azul, also against Shariar, who's going to be running in the next, not this race, but the following race here today. Watch what happens. Again, this distance I think was too far. He is cutting back, but he really got sawed off in late stretch here, Davey.
Christian Demero cut him right off. And I actually was on this horse. I remember it was a Sunday morning. I was watching.
Right, whoa, right there, wow.
Yeah, that was it. So he would have been right there for a Japan Cup win, and had he won that, he'd be the favorite for this race.
Yeah,
so he almost is, but there's tremendous value actually.
So those both, the first race we saw was a mile and a quarter. The second one we saw is a mile and a half. He's cutting back to 12 furlongs, a mile and eighth, 9 furlongs, 9 furlongs, a mile and eighth. He's only done it once, as you can see on the screen, his second career start. My only concern with this horse, Davey, he's got a great post, he's got a great jockey. The price, I wish we were getting a little bit more. Maybe he'll drift. He's 3-1 right now here in the States. My only concern is, will he be too far back? Now, Philip Edwards, a very sharp guy who is a good friend of both of ours, who's actually at the track today at Meydan, excellent punter, thinks that João Moreira is going to try to get Dana and Beluga a little bit closer into the race. Is that how you feel, or do you think he'll make a run from the back of the pack?
I think he'll be closer because he's drawn in 4. So I mean, he's right there. You take advantage of it. The good jockeys know when they've got an advantage, they take advantage of it.
Absolutely. Now, there's a horse in this race that is a price, and I talked about this horse a little bit. You said you did some, excuse me, you looked at this horse again. The
Yeah.
number 6, Junko. At first, you weren't as high on him. You're more high on him now. This is a horse that won at Shanti on the poly track there, or the synthetic, as a prep. He is a 4-year-old for Andre Fob. He's out of Intello, out of a Dynaformer mare. You would think distance is not a problem. Very good connections. What do you like about this possible long shot?
Well, he ran in a Group 2 at Longchamp the day before the Arc. He was second by a nose hair to a good Shadwell horse, who could be a prominent Group 1 horse in England this year. And that was over soft. He's shown on a recent what I most liked about him was the prep. A lot of French horses have these all-weather preps before they go to Meydan, and it was just the way he moved. The jockey was motionless. He asked him once, and he slipped into 5th gear, and it was just a sense of like, okay, they've got something good here. If you look at interviews with the stable, they're quietly confident. They believe he's a Group 1 horse, and he's basically there. So I think the rest of the field at a price, he's the one I want to be on, because there's question marks about the rest of them, and I prefer a horse that's got a bit of a profile like this, progressive.
And you think he might go to the lead also, Davey? It's hard the pace situation. This is always something very tricky for American punters, Davey. Is in the past performances, we don't see the fractional times. We don't know where the horses are at each fraction or each quarter mile on our PPs. You have to do a lot of digging. But in your opinion, this horse could be on the lead in this race. Is that correct?
He could be on the lead, and he battles. He fights with other horses, and one thing. And as you said before, Dynaformer, well, that screams distance. And on the Intello, well, that's all Galileo in the background there. So, you know, this horse will be, the further they go, the better, and the further and harder they go, the better. So, this is the horse for me at a price, or a horse to include in your tries.
Let me talk about some comments. We have Joe Metka. He's from Philadelphia. He's an excellent handicapper and an even better guy, Davey. Joe Metka is here, wants to congratulate me on the pick 4. We've got someone in the bullpen that we're going to bring on in just a minute. Trish Smith likes Glorious Dragon, Lauren North, and Master of the Seas. We're gonna show another replay and talk about some of those horses as well. Jimmy is here. Jimmy Tuez. The podcast is popping this morning. Appreciate it. I know there was a comment from Christine. Christine, as far as I know, there should be no issues with the screen. Everything looks fine to me. No one else has said anything. So maybe that's on your end, Christine, but sorry that's happening to you. Davey, as we about to show the next replay, which is the Jebel Hada, let's bring on one of my great co-hosts here who's going to join us and had a trifecta earlier today. I wasn't sure. We invited a lot of people on, but he's made it, and he's got a fantastic hoodie from the East Coast of Maryland, the one and only Mr. Pete Visco. Pete, good morning. How you doing?
What's up, everybody? What's up, Davey? How's it going?
Pete, how you doing?
Pete, why don't you tell everyone first about your score you had earlier today?
Oh yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was the only ticket I cashed so far today, but I had luckily I had originally bet. I did one of those stupid things where I had like a 2-5-5 triple where I had 2 horses, maybe 5 or 6, and then right after that I was like, well, let me put the 2 in second and do the 6 on top, the 2 in second. And luckily I did that because that's what hit Broom, and then Broom, whoever ran second and third. I can't remember everybody at this point.
It was Siskiny.
Siskiny, yes.
I'm not sure who was in third there, but congratulations.
Oh,
on
it
that,
was it was a subjectivist who actually I thought had a shot because of the speed, the way the speed was holding. So,
Pete, I'd be remiss not to ask you. We do have time. There's a little more. There's about 22 minutes. So we got time here.
Yeah.
Dermo Sotogatke, the next Kentucky Derby winner, if you ask people on Twitter, apparently was impressive.
Yeah.
I guess who knows? But until one of these horses comes over and does it, I'm not going to believe it. But he was impressive today.
I mean, and I sort of responded on Twitter that there's not a ton of speed in this field, in this Derby field. So if you can get a decent speed horse that doesn't do what they did last year and set suicidal fractions, we know that that's been successful in the Derby. So, I mean, the breeding is a little suspect for what you would expect for a 1.25 mile race, but he seemed to be pretty strong today. So why not? Again, this Derby field has come up so far pretty light from what we've seen. So if any year it's going to happen, maybe this is the one that does it.
I just want to, Penn State Scott mentioned the PPs aren't as sharp. Guys, they're as good as they're going to be. And I'm looking at, I have on the side here, I've got my own iPad, and it looks fine to me. It might just be because it's small, everyone. So I'll try to make it a little bit bigger. That might help. But as far as I know, there's no issues on our end. But we'll work on that. Guys, here's what I want to do next. Davey, I want to show the replay of the Jebel Hada. Okay? The Jebel Hada had several horses in this race. The horses that finished 1, 2 were Al Farik and El Drama, horses that we do not like, Davey. But the horse that comes running in third, horse that we're familiar with here in the States a little bit, is Master of the Seas. And then also Real World was also in this race, who did not run very well, but you have a little bit of an opinion on Real World today. So let me go ahead and show that replay very quickly, and you can comment, Davey. Let me go ahead and get it started here. Okay, so these two horses here are the ones that are going to win, Al Farik and El Drama. Master of the Seas is right here in this yellow cap, makes a real race none for third. And then Real World, who was disappointing in this race, was right here, but he was coming off a layoff. Why don't you talk about some of these horses as I go ahead and roll it through, Davey?
Right. Well, Master of the Seas was a very close second in the 2000 Guineas, and a horse that was favored by a lot of people, and including myself, when it went to the States and had some trouble at the gate and didn't get in the race. This was a particularly unusually bad ride from William Buick to have the horse in that position at the time. So that goes down to that. But even with a bad ride, he should be beating both of those other horses. So that puts me in the mind frame that maybe the horse hasn't come on as much. And in that respect is why it was when I was thinking that is when I sort of landed on Junko, thinking I want something on an upward curve as opposed to a flat line, you know. So I think maybe Master of the Seas is maybe not gonna find the distance and is flatlining a bit. So still a good horse, still underneath, but not in the first two for me. No.
And you've got Master of the Seas third. I have the number 11, who I need to. I'm a little bit out of sorts just because everything's out of the way. Oh, Real World. Let's talk about Real World a little bit. Who's coming from? I think he's got a good post, I believe. Let me see if I can find Real World. He did not run very well in that race that we just saw. By the way, those of you at home, I just made the PPs a little bit bigger. I don't know if you want to comment at home if people can see the PPs a little bit better now, but I made them a little bit bigger. This is Oisin Murphy. Pete, Real World was very, very good in 2021. He ran off a bunch of horses, a bunch of wins, was very poor last year as a 5-year-old. But at the end, he did run second at the end of his 5-year-old season to Baid twice. So certainly he was getting back into form, Pete. Losing to Baid, no shame there. Maybe he just needed the last race. And apparently, Davey, according to Philip Edwards, Oisin Murphy might be sending this horse a little bit and get a better position. Pete, do you have an opinion on Real World at all, Pete?
Yeah, I actually included Real World, but my concern, and Davey would know better than me, my concern are his best races happen at a mile, at least looking at the page. So I just thought that maybe once he goes beyond that, he's just not as good as he is when he's going the 8 furlongs. And it's not like he doesn't run well going longer than that. I mean, he has, you can see on the screen there, he's got some wins going longer, but he's also just seems to be a little more impressive going the mile. So that threw me off a bit. I love Oisin Murphy. He's maybe my favorite international jockey aside from Frankie Dettori when he was truly international. But I had this horse, and I had this horse, I think last time in the Jebel Hada. So I like this horse. I wasn't on him on top just because of that reason.
Shahzad Alam, welcome to the show, sir. We have a lot of people watching new fans, especially. Davey, your thoughts on Real World?
Yeah, well, one thing, I mean, you said earlier about the Baid form, and that, on the first glance, you say, oh, he's second to Baid a couple of times, but there weren't many runners in either of those races, and the fields weren't that deep.
Yeah,
and he finishes 3.5 lengths behind Baid. Baid's easing down at the time, and so on. So,
okay.
I'm sticking with my original memory of Real World, is that he's the handicapper that they realized was better than they thought, and they threw him around, and he's done okay, but he's not the grade 1, Group 1 turf beast at this distance for me. And I don't want him. So
and I think you said that last time, Davey, too. I'm pretty sure I remember you saying that before the last race as well.
Yeah,
Davey, let's talk about Lord North. This horse, let me just say straight out, I do not know what to do with him today. I've got him third out of complete respect for what he's done. He's now a 7-year-old, but Gosden has done a tremendous job with this horse. I didn't like him last year in this race, and he surprised me beating Panthalassa. He won the Winter Derby again, which is a prep at Lingfield for today. He's got a great post. Other than Danan Beluga, I don't think there's any superstars here, Davey. I would not be surprised if Lord North runs big again.
Yeah, possible, but it's John Gosden was interviewed yesterday, and he was getting his excuses in about the horse, saying the ground was too hard. So
he was. I heard that. I don't know what to make of that.
Yeah, but then again, there's been a lot of talk at the track today, including from Phil, about them watering a lot. So maybe Gosden says something, and then the track manager responds and throws the water on. So that's a factor going on. And a lot of people
is that how it works? Okay.
Well, a lot of people think that affected the Alco Sprint. There was water put on one more side than the other. So there's a lot of
Davey, can you talk about that? Because I'm sure Pete and most people watching do not know. Now, I don't want to get us in trouble. I don't know if that's a fact, Davey, but Philip heard about it, or that possibly they watered part of that straightaway more outside outside more than the inside possibly.
Yeah, well, Larry Colmus was showing. He posted a picture on Twitter showing the pipes watering at some point. So they clearly were watering. And of course, they have to water because it's the desert out there. It's hot, But it's a case of how much did they overall water and where did they water? I mean, who knows? I'll leave that to speculation. So, but
Davey, are there some other? Here's what we're going to do. I'd like you to maybe touch on one or two more horses, maybe Nation's Pride, and then we have to talk about Seraphos, who is the favorite that I know you're completely against. He's the favorite in the market. Why don't we talk about that horse a bit, and then we'll go to a quick break, Davey.
Yeah, Seraphos is a miler, and he's the favorite for a nine furlong race. I'm not sure why. Maybe because he was the Japanese people most know as a Group 1 winner, but the big Group 1 mile he won last time, I mean, that was down to a brilliant ride by Damian Lane, who swooped down the outside where no one could see him, so off the pace. So, you're not always going to get the great ride and the great positioning. So I'm against Seraphos. I'm for the prices of Danan Beluga and for the prices of Junko. And then underneath, I'm looking for something else.
Based on the fact that we don't like the favorite, as you mentioned, Davey, this would be a great race, Pete, to play a trifecta or a triple here. Yeah. I'm going to be playing a trifecta, King, Danan Beluga in first and second only. There's no reason for me to play him in third, Pete, because he's 3-1. So you're really not going to get the value. But I'm going to put for me, a relatively big win bet if he stays at 3-1 or higher. And I'm also going to key him on top in a try. How do you see yourself betting this race, Pete, vertically?
I have a triple put in already so far, but I was thinking of putting another one. I don't have the two. I tossed the two earlier. So,
okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, I'd rather listen to Davey than me. So I'm sure Davey's opinion is a little better than mine. But I'm a Lord North guy, so I have Lord North. I have a few. I actually have Seraphos in case he can. I like that horse in case he can stretch out. Again, I agree 100% with Davey on that, though. And then I also like I have Nation's Pride just because it's a horse that I like, and I like that horse. And I don't know if he's he may not be up to some of these, but it's a horse that I like. And then I just sort of spread a little bit in the try underneath that. But I might put a little something in with the 2 as well, since I have a couple of prices on the other side of it. But I like Lord North.
Real quick, let's talk about Nation's Pride, and then we'll take a quick break. Davey, I'm against him a little bit. Pete, my main reason is I just don't think those 3-year-old races here in the States were that were very good. Now
Nope.
he did run well, and he's got tactical speed. He ran decent enough in the Breeders' Cup Turf, I would say. He was a ridiculous favorite in that race, at least in my opinion. I don't think he should have been favored. Davey, your overall opinions on Nation's Pride, and then we'll take a quick break.
Yeah, I'm against. He's way overrated. A flat track bully who took easy races in the States. Not for me at all.
Wow.
One thing real quick before we go
It's
to break.
like, what are you talking about? I like Nation's Pride.
One thing I did like is that he is going from 3 to 4, and I like if you care about time form speed ratings at all, which we use them here because that's one, especially on the international races, because we're not as familiar. I like that he popped a 124, which is his best time form of his career, actually, in his first race as a 4-year-old. So maybe he's matured, and he's a quality horse. He may have beaten up on not the best when he was here, but if he improved from 3 to 4, and it's Appleby and Buick, so if Appleby can get a horse to improve, then maybe he is reaching that potential. That's my only thought on him.
Davey?
Okay, stop press. I just want to give you a market update. Seraphos is roughly the same price. Lord North is drifting from 9 to 2 to 11 to 2. Danon Beluga's come in from no, he's the same. He's roughly the same. There's been
He's
money
7 to 1 over in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, he's 15 to 2 right now.
Davey, 100 pounds to win on Danon Beluga, please, for me.
Okay. Listen, and Master of the Seas has come in from 11s to 9 to 8 to 7 to 13 to 2. So there's money for him.
Wow.
And
okay.
Real World, actually.
I've got, it looks like about 7 minutes. So it's perfect time. We're going to take a very short 2-minute break, everyone. Give Davey and Pete a chance to catch their breath, and we will come back for the Dubai Turf $5 million race, a mile and 8. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching the HHH Racing Podcast.
Adelphi Racing Club, offering a truly personal racing experience. Looking to own thoroughbred racehorses and win at the highest level circuits? We're not just a syndicate, and our members aren't just investors. We are partners. Experience the Adelphi difference. Join the club today. Contact us to get a taste of the Adelphi experience and come hang with us this Saratoga meet.
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to our sponsorship from the wonderful people at Adelphi Racing Club. We've got a few minutes to post. Davey, give us a final market look over there in your neck of the woods, please.
Okay, well, we've got Seraphos is now drifted back out. He's 3-1. Lord North, 5-1. Denim Beluga, 15-2. Oh, actually, no. Real World, 13-2. Master of the Seas, 6-1. Denim Beluga, 15-2. Nation's Pride, 7. Junko, 9-1. The rest of the ones, double figures.
And we've got Dana Beluga 3-1 here. Seraphos 7-2. Those are the top of the market. A Nation's Pride, Pete, is 6-1. Lord North is 5-1. Or of Australia, I think taking a lot of money on name alone, Pete. I don't like him in this spot. And then Junko 16. Final thoughts, Pete, in this race as they're approaching the gate here.
Well, just from an odds perspective, Junko and Master of the Seas sound like the biggest discrepancy between our odds and what they're seeing, what Davy's seeing on his end. So if you favor what's going on overseas in the overseas market, then Junko and Master of the Seas look like value as far as our races go, as far as our odds go, I should say.
And Davey, in terms of the pick 4, this is the pick 4 we gave out. You are still alive. Of course, so am I. You've got 2 and 6. So you got Dana Beluga and Junko in this race. I'm a lot deeper. I've got 2, 7, 8, 11, 12. I do not have Junko. So let's get the 2 home for both of us. I also, listen, I'm honest on this show, guys. I'm not going to BS people at home. I've got a I mean, depending on people's bankroll, I've got a relatively large win bet for me on Dana Beluga. And as I said, Pete, I have a bigger try with Dana Beluga on top and a smaller try with him in second. It looks like they're approaching the gate. I'm expecting a relatively slow pace, Davey, early. I don't see a lot of early foot in this race.
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. I'm not too sure about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to try. I've got my phone out here and try to do a little better job with the horses. I won't commentate as much as I did last time. All I want to see, Davey, is Dana Beluga into the clear and flying late. Yes. That's what I'd like to see personally. He's going to be in the. Is it the 6 hole? He's starting gate 6. Dana Beluga.
Yeah. I've played a try with him in up front too.
Yeah.
I'm looking for late moves. What you have to understand too is the Hong Kong people are playing on the international tote. So Dana Beluga might be 3-1 in the States because a lot of Hong Kong people are playing Morera.
That commingled pool. This gentleman has Seraphos to win. Ram Singh, thanks for joining the show. Tom Espinoza likes Nation's Pride, dislikes the wide draw. That could be a problem. It's a fairly short run into that first turn, going 9 furlongs. Tuna on Toast. Maybe after this race, Davey, they want to know if you have any shot tin tips for this weekend, but we can talk about that after the race, Davey. Looks like they are starting to go into the gate. Again, Pete, you and I are probably watching about the same time. I think Davey's like literally 1 second ahead. So, and then people at home, of course, are about 5 seconds ahead than us. So as we say, they're going to cross the wire, they've already finished the race because of the delay through YouTube.
You're not allowed to have the video, but can you have the audio?
I do not know, but I'm not going to take my chances with that, to be honest.
Okay.
So we can talk. I know my assumption is almost everyone is watching at home through their channels and then listening to us. So I'd recommend people, of course, do that. It looks like half the field is in the gate right now. Again, this is 1 1/8 miles. It's the Dubai turf.
Favorite shifting.
Sorry, go ahead, Davey.
Favorites drifting 10-3 now, 100-30. Denim Beluga's 8-1.
Wow, that's unbelievable. All right, looks like the final few are loading. Pete, I've got only one more left to load. I'm not sure what you're looking at right now.
Same, yeah, it's going in right now with the hood. We got the hood on the 7.
Here we go. The Dubai Turf, $5 million, and they're off.
Even beginning.
Even it looks like Aura of Australia is showing a little speed. I love where Dane and Beluga, guys. He's gonna get over to the inside. He's a little further back than I want him to be, Davey, but he's in a pretty good spot here. Just tracking about in 7th or 8th.
Yeah,
it looks like before El Drama is going to go to the lead, and Nation's Pride is wide right now, Pete, but is getting a good trip. We've got a really nice overhead view. I think that's Al Farik, the gray in behind.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going too fast, Davey. We don't.
No, they're not, because Shell Spate's just been jowled up there. So El Drama slowed the race down. Good riding by Atzini. He's found
that's actually David Egan. David Egan's on El Drama.
Sorry, the former,
I'll take Al Farik underneath at that price, by the way.
Dane Beluga I don't like where he is right now, Davey. He's pretty far back. And he's a little sort of in between horses. If Dane Beluga wins from here, he's going to be an absolute monster, Davey. Right now, this number 4 El Drama is just cruising on the lead. Yeah. Dane Beluga is like third. He needs to get to the outside, Davey. He's not firing at all. I don't know what the story is here. He's absolutely awful as of right now. And if he wins this race, he's a monster. Right now, it's still El Drama. And you got the 9 Nation's Pride is fighting on. Here comes the 12 on the outside. That's Seraphos. There's the 7. Lord North. And now Dane Beluga is finally rolling on the outside. Lord North. Dane Beluga. Lord North wins. Dane Beluga was absolutely flying. He was way too far back, Davey. I don't understand the ride. Lord North, Davey. This horse is just unbelievable. Pete, you're a Lord North guy. That's good for you, right?
Yeah, I had to try. I was just hoping that I was hoping that Dane Beluga would get third instead, just from a price standpoint. But
wow, this closing section, Master of the Seas runs Nation's Pride came in third, ran a very big race, but Nation's Pride got the run of it, Davey, because they were walking up front.
Yeah.
I don't know what's the bigger story, Lord North or Dane Beluga. I guess you have to say Lord North because he won. Yeah. That closing 1/8 of a mile, Pete, by Dane Beluga, holy crap.
Yeah, it was great. Too bad it didn't win.
It did not.
I only care about the win. It's great for him, but he had a straight run too, which was great. I mean, he's getting a straight run. The 9 was fading a bit, and Lord North just does what he does.
Morera ran a bad race. He ran a bad race.
I thought, I guess I'm being a little bit, I had a win bet on Dane Beluga. So, and you and I sort of needed him a little bit also for the pick 6, as you know, as well. I'm a little bit, disappointed / disgusted. Lord North won, but I don't think Dane Beluga lost anything in this race. It was a slow pace. He had to weave between horses. I just don't like the ride. He was too far back, Davey.
Yeah, too far back, and he didn't recognize that the pace wasn't on, and they didn't take evasive action. And it's a shame because the horse had the stamina to go another couple of furlongs. So, a bad ride from Morera.
I believe I have. Not that anyone cares what I have or don't have, but I am alive in the pick 4, and I do have the try. I believe. Again, if you were at home or like Howard, we don't care. I apologize, but I care, everyone, because I do. I had 7-9 with 2 with a bunch of horses, so I do have the try. I don't think it's gonna be anything crazy, Pete, but we did beat. It's a big field. Was it 9-2 over 7-2 over 7-1?
And the favorite's out. The favorite here is out.
Yeah.
Davey, great call on Seraphos, sir, because Seraphos ranged up mid-stretch and flattened out, did not want to get the 9 furlongs. Davey laid an excellent call on chucking the favorite for sure. Yep.
And I think in 4th was Shell Spate, no?
I'm looking at the replay right now.
Somebody inside the 12. The 12 looked like had it, but then somebody came up on the inside of the 12.
We're taking a look at it right now. I can't say enough
Sure.
about Lord North. I mean, Lord North is just it's just a fantastic story. On the wrong lead. I know that we didn't see it, Pete. They didn't show is it the 14?
14, I think. I think it's
14 would be Vindegaard. That'd be Vindegaard if that was the 14.
No, that's Cheryl Spite is the 14.
Cheryl Spite was the 14.
Oh, I'm sorry, it is Cheryl.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's hard to tell here.
Yeah, and I took that 4th place as a 66-1, so that's okay for me.
Oh, nice. Cheryl Spite was coming in between there, P, it looks like maybe. Yeah.
It was
if
hard
that's
to
Cheryl
tell.
Spite, that's a real nice run for Cheryl Spite, who did no running at all in Japan on the dirt. Lord North, let's go back to Lord North here real quick. Let me bring up the PPs. Lord North wins this race. I think it's a $5 million race, if I recall. And Davey, he got the run of the race, but I got to give him credit. This horse has now won, what is it, about $8 million, Davey, for Lord North. Would you say he's an overachiever?
Yeah, I mean, he's never had any of my money, so what do I know? I mean,
okay.
I've never played the horse, so I get it wrong every time with him. So what can I tell you?
Fair enough. Was it 6? What do we got? 9-2 there, Pete, on the winner?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that was here. We got 9-2.
Okay. And Davey, unfortunately, you didn't have him to pick for us, so sorry about that, buddy. But you were right on. You've been talking about Dana Beluga all week, along with Philip Edwards, and so I'm disappointed I didn't get the win bet there, but I do have him in the try, which should be okay. What do you do with Dana Beluga next, Davey? Is he going to stay, do you think, in Japan? Do you think he could run well in Europe? And what kind of distance do you think is right for him?
Well, maybe another furlong, a mile 2.
Okay.
So we'll see. Anyway, I don't want to criticize the jockey. It was just
go ahead.
No. I mean, he didn't recognize the pace. The race wasn't fast enough, and he didn't make a move till too late.
Well, I'm not saying,
but he wasn't long enough.
Listen, I'm wrong plenty of times, Davey. But you heard me say at the beginning of the race I didn't like it. He sort of drug him back. He was in between. John Moreira is fantastic. He either misjudged the pace or just thought he had more horse. I'm not sure which one, but I mean, to come from that far back against those quality horses is not easy. Pete, your overall thoughts on that race?
I mean, I thought it was a good race. I mean, I thought the 9 was hung a little wide, and I didn't necessarily, faded a little bit, but ran a good race. Nation's Pride. Lord North just wins at the distance, loves Meydan, loves this race. So there's nothing you can argue against that. And Dana Beluga ran fantastic. So that's definitely a horse to look for next time. But I'm assuming that horse will get bet down based off that showing. So I assume that would be someone who's you're not going to get even a decent price probably next time out. I'll tell you one thing I was pissed about. I would have had a half decent pick 3 if stupid Switzerland could have got up over Sibelius in that last race. So that one hurt a bit, especially because I had Sibelius in my first run. I had Sibelius at an A and then wound up leaving him off all my tickets. And that cost me a half decent pick 3.
Yeah, well, Sibelius surprised me a little bit. I liked him, but I didn't think he'd be closing up the inside. And I think that's not to go back too much on the races, Pete, but to me that's up. Okay, up. Doggy's got to go out. All right, we have a dog alert there, Davey, in the background there. There we go, Pete. There we go. You might say who let the dogs out? Pete Visco did. Pete Visco. Got to take care of the dogs there.
Got to
Pete.
let the dog out. She pounds on the door if I don't let her out there.
Your thoughts on the sprint? Gun Knight to me was disappointing. He's supposed to get the job done in that situation if he's really that good.
Based on that trip, I thought it was a lock when they hit the lane, the way the race was going, and he didn't fire at all. He was definitely supposed to go by. I mean, that was the most disappointing thing for me, aside from the fact that they let Sibelius through. I mean, Hopkins held a little bit longer than I expected. And that was, I guess, impressive I just didn't expect that horse to be on the lead and hold that strongly. But again, if he'd have just locked Sibelius in, that would have been bad. But it was a pretty fair run race. I mean, the good horses who were on the top they all made sense. There wasn't anything too shocking about it.
Yeah. All right. The next race, guys, and I'm trying to see, we got about 28 minutes. So again, we'll talk about the race, guys, again, take a quick break, and come back a little bit. Davey, I'm going to just flat out say it. I think the superstar of the entire card is in this race. I think the most talented horse running on this card is in this next race. It's the number 7 Equinox, who is an absolute freight train. He's a beautiful horse. He's from Japan. Christophe Lemaire is going to be riding. I see right now 5-4. Again, a little bit above evens or odds on right now in the market. Is that what you see? Does that bring up the PPs, Davey?
Yeah, I'm seeing roughly the same. I think 11-10 right now. We
got 3-5. We have 3-5 here.
Hey, Pete, by the way, if you or anyone else in the chat could tell me what the dollar trifecta pays when it comes up, I'd love to know. I do have a $3 try, which should be okay. So it's not going to be, world beaters, but it should be decent. So if anyone in the chat or if Pete could bring
I'll be watching it because I have the try as well. So I'll be watching for it. Yeah.
Let's talk about this horse, Davey. Equinox, and I've got some replays to show for this race. Now, actually, let's bring us all back on screen again. This next race, this is the Dubai Shima Classic. It is a $6 million race. They're going 1.5 miles, which is what, 12? I got to do the math there. Is that 12 furlongs? 12 furlongs, I believe. 1.5 miles. Excuse me. It's 16 furlongs. Sorry. No, that's 2 miles. Whatever it is. I think it's 12. I should know. I'm a math teacher, right? Anyway, they're going to I don't know. I'm always converting it to meters is always a bit confusing. I know it's 200. So anyway, they're going 1.5 miles, Davey. And we talked about Equinox. He's very talented. I'm going to show the PPs here first. Talk about this very talented 4-year-old coming in from Japan.
Okay, well, I mean, he's the best group horse in Japan right now, and he should win the race. And if maybe we were really smart, we wouldn't have been playing any bets other than a huge win bet on him and doubling our money, and that's the end of it. So, I don't see him losing, but anything could happen. It's a horse race, but no, I don't see him losing.
Well, we're going to show. We're going to show the last race. I'm going to show the last race. This is the Arena Kinnan. It was a Group 1 in December. I'm just checking my notes real quick, make sure we're good. Yeah, we're going to show this race. You see it on the screen right now. And right here on this line cap that's on the outside is Equinox, just making a huge. He already made a decent move, made a big move on the outside, and absolutely blew by everyone. This is just a very talented horse right here, Davey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's going to be, where do you see him in this race? Mid-pack, anywhere he wants to be? What do you think today?
Anywhere he wants to. Well, Lemaire has to avoid he doesn't want to make the mistake Moreira did and get stuck in a slow pace. And then, so Lemaire's not stupid. He'll have the horse handy. But, we said that about Moreira and he didn't do it. So, yeah, but this is just a beautiful animal. And I think the quality of this field isn't as strong as the quality of the turf, maybe.
So you actually think that last race maybe has a little more quality than this one?
Well, in terms deeper down the field, I mean, I don't think there's any good horse. The depth of this field isn't as strong as that one.
Let me bring up the banners here. This is race 8. There's our picks across the screen. Davey and I both have Equinox on top, and we feel very strongly about it. Pete, who's your top pick? I know we don't have your 3 there at the bottom. We weren't sure where you're coming in. Looks like the dollar try. Wow. Chris Mack says the dollar try was 156, Pete. Is that what you have?
It was 78 for 50 cents. Yep.
I'll take that 3 times. Okay. Thank you, Chris Mack. I appreciate that. That actually was better than I thought. Pete, you sound disappointed. You thought it'd be pay better?
Well, you always hope for a little bit more. But,
Okay.
I mean,
You're like, it didn't pay $1,500. What the hell?
I mean, why not? I mean, you never know. So, I mean,
Okay.
I'm never happy with the price of anything until if if I always want more. So, by the way, yeah, I actually Equinox is by far the best horse in this race, but I have Rebels Romance on top. Until somebody beats this horse on the turf, I'm going to keep riding him.
Now let's talk about him. Rebels Romance, and what we actually you led me right into it, Pete, because I want to show the replay of the Breeders' Cup turf. Rebels Romance, of course, wins the Breeders' Cup turf. Let me go to it right here. This should be it. I can just automatic click, so that's easy. He's going to be the 5 here, Pete. I thought he was pretty impressive, although, again, the field is just not nearly the same. He's in the white cap, I believe, and he's going to swing out into like the 7 path. We'll see it right here. I'll just let it run from here, and he wins. But it's fair to say this field he's facing today is better than this one.
Oh, sure. But I mean, you have to beat whoever's in the race. I mean, it's still a Breeders' Cup race. It's still a pretty deep field, and you still have to make a run from off the pace. So, and it was pretty impressive. And again, this horse has done nothing wrong since they put him on the turf, and he beats this field like it's a field that he should be better than. It's not like he squeaked out a win. I mean, He pretty much dominated what still was a half decent Breeders' Cup field. I mean, Nation's Pride was in that, came back and ran okay in that last one. But obviously Equinox on paper looks to be the best. But again, if I'm looking for a little bit more of a price, especially because what are we at now? We're still 4 to 5 with Equinox. I'll take a shot with Rebels Romance. I have both of them in pick threes. In the pick 3 right now, so I didn't single Equinox, so I'll be rooting for Rebels Romance.
Pete, was there a pick 3 that ends here? Because I'm just curious to know what the pick 3 pays with Equinox.
Yeah, there was.
What is the? I can look it up
I don't
myself.
see. You know what? I don't see payouts available though.
I've got it.
You got it. Okay.
Wow. Okay. The dollar pick 3 that ends with Equinox actually pays 148. That's better than I thought.
That's pretty good.
So I want to know, obviously, Davey, because I'm alive in the pick 4, and so I've tried to figure out the parlay they're going for. That's actually better than I thought. In the doubles here in the States, Davey, Equinox is $8 for $1, and then you got to go to Rebels Romance, who's 25, and no one else is. Sorry, the 8 horse and the 2 and the 8 are third choices, Pete, in the doubles. So the 2 and the 8 would be, let's see here. The 8 is Westover. We didn't really talk about Westover very much, Davey, this week at all. And then Moose Tied Off is also taking a little bit of money in the pick 3. Davey, your thoughts on Rebels Romance?
Rebels Romance, wide draw doesn't help. He's got the Breeders' Cup form that we know, that we can't take that away. But he's not at the level of Equinox. He's a worthy second favorite. He's a better horse than Westover. Westover is not really. Westover is what we'd call, I think, developing to more of a cup source. You might see if Westover was really, really the goods, he would have been primed to run the race in Saudi a few weeks ago because he's a Saudi-owned horse. So I think they're using this as the prep to do something in the summer in even longer distances in the UK, Ascot Gold Cup, Goodwood Cup, these kind of races. So,
Davey, I know you're a fan of the German circuit. Horses that come from there do well. The debate last year with Rebels Romance, at least for me, was that he didn't run in like some of the big time races. In Europe, he went to Cologne and ran in the Group 1 there. Where do you put his? You just don't think he classes up, but may he be improving still?
He may, but he's first up, correct? I mean,
yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, that doesn't mean Appleby won't get him ready. I mean, Appleby does that a lot, but I'm not going to play him. I'm not going to play him. He's not as good as Equinox, and he's first up. And there you go. There's no reason. There's no reason for me to play a horse who's first up when he's got a season ahead of him. I know it's Dubai. I know it's Dubai and the owners and so on, but I think we're dealing with a lock here in Equinox. So I'm not against Equinox. You're not gonna tease me into playing another horse.
I sort of agree. Musadov ran very well last time, but this is a much more difficult field, Davey. Correct?
Yeah, he showed better. He showed better when he got firmer ground, and he'll get that in Dubai compared to what he had in the arc. He finished, I think, last in the arc over the distance. So, but he beat nothing really in Saudi. One horse that has been training well, at least looking from the videos of the Japanese pundits who've been out there. Shahryar looks like he's back in form. Maybe the bet could be the Japanese try in this race. Or box 4 horses, and that would be Equinox, Rebels Romance, and the 2 Japanese. That might be an interesting try.
I was going to ask you about that one, Davey, because actually my pick 3, I have Rebels Romance, Equinox, and Shahryar. So actually, if all else went wild, I'd rather have Shahryar we're at 16-1 here we're getting right now. So
yeah,
I would take that one to turn the tables on Equinox.
Yeah, and Win Marilyn who won a Group 1 in Hong Kong last time, but again a weak field. I think Botanic was the horse that came in second in that race. So I would think the lock would be the trifecta: Equinox, Rebels Romance, and Shahryar for me.
There's Win Marilyn, who's a mare. By the way, Shahryar was in the replay that we showed, guys, where Dana Beluga steadied. And Shahryar ran a big race there against Vela Azul. So if Shahryar is as good as Dana Beluga, maybe if he runs his best, he can put a little scare in Equinox. Perhaps, Davey, you still say no chance.
Yeah, he could put a scare in him, but I think Equinox is just that edge above. And great underneath at a price, Shahryar. Second and third in your tries, but Equinox is the winner for me all over.
So here's a great question, Davies. We got plenty of time here, and we'll take a little bit of break and come back.
Yeah.
I want to talk about value for a minute, Pete, because I think that's a word that is misunderstood in the betting parlance, Davey. Everyone thinks value has to be a 6-1, a 10-1, a 20-1. Value is basically when a horse is getting a better or much better, depending on how good your value is, price than you think he should be, the value line. Let's just say Equinox goes off odds on. Let's say he's even money. Let's say he's evens, Davey. Is that value to you? Would you put a win bet on a horse at even money if you think he's almost a cinch?
Well, I just put a win bet on at 5-4 on him just now as we were speaking.
There you go.
Because I was expecting him to be 8-11.
Right. So you're getting him at 1.2-1, and you thought he'd be,
0.6 something, yeah.
Sorry, you thought it'd be 0.7, 7-8 at 0.8-1, and you're getting 1.2-1. So there, the dog's coming back in. I love live video here. There she is. Okay.
And that's not necessarily usually my style, but sometimes as I said earlier, you have to recognize when you've got the beast, and you just have to, why not double your money? What's wrong with that?
Pete, it always bothers me when I hear from people, whether it's on Twitter or in person or whatever. How do you put a big win bet on an even money shot? You're not getting paid. You are getting paid if you think he or she should be 2-5.
Yeah, I mean, odds have nothing to do with the value line. It really depends too on. I mean, if you're a $10 bettor, then maybe it's not worth it to bet a 4-5 shot. But if you're betting a large amount and you say, hey, this horse should be 2-5 and I'm getting it at even money, then that's as good of a bet as saying I have a 2-1 shot who I'm getting at 5. Theoretically, it's still from a win percentage standpoint and from a value standpoint, it's basically the same. But I think people look at the payout amount as value as opposed to the odds the horse is to win against what the odds they are on the board. So at least in your own mind. Now, if you're I was gonna say we talked about this with Matt when Matt Bernier was on the show. Now, if you suck at calculating sort of a value line, then that doesn't help you that much. If you think, oh, this horse should win 80 out of 100 times, and you're like, well, that's nuts because that's not even close to what they should be. That's where you can have the discrepancy. But if you're good at putting a value line together and you've proven that to yourself, then yes, I agree with you 100%. We've
got a lot of new people watching, Pete. The viewership is tremendous. So let's let's tout our power picks, Pete. They're below the video player, only $4 every Saturday. You get them through email, $16 a month. The ROI last year was $2.59. It's about the same this year. We also have fantastic horizontal plays, ABC grids, pick fours, pick fives. Whether you are listening here in the States or whether you're somewhere overseas, this is an excellent tip sheet. It's very inexpensive. Look below the video player or on the screen for more information. Patreon.com/HHH Racing Podcast. It comes out every Saturday. It's very affordable. It's excellent. Also, we have a fantastic website. Pete, why don't you talk about the website that you've mainly created for the podcast, which I think is outstanding.
Yeah, it's a good place if you want to know more about either us or you just want to look. I mean, there's some great photos, there's things like that. One of the more important pages, which sort of dovetails off what Howard was just talking about, is the power picks. If you're questionable about whether you want to pick up and subscribe to our power picks, go on the website. There's a power picks page. We have examples of I think the last 15 or the last 14 plus the Breeders' Cup are out there. So you could see what they look like. You could see what kind of information we provide. And then what we just started was we're going to track sort of our last 2 weeks worth of hits. So whatever we cash each week, we're going to just put that up there so people could see it as well. Yeah. Thank you, Howard. So if you go on there, you could see, if you go on the Power Picks page, the Power Picks page is more important just from a subscriber standpoint, but you see there's our last 2 weeks going into this week. And then if you scroll down a bit, you'll see here's an example of the power picks. So you see the type of information we're providing. Yeah, if you scroll through, we have ABC grids there, which again, we have an ABC grid, but we also have a caveman ticket if that's what you prefer. And then there's spot plays, price plays with suggested bets.
I like seeing Genius Jimmy again, Pete. I like seeing Genius Jimmy. That makes me feel good.
Well, it's nice when you have.
That was a nice score for us on the power.
We try and keep a winning one up there. We don't want one up there with a ton of losers on it. And then
you got some great stats, Pete.
And then for whatever our main track is, which is generally the track we talk about on our Thursday flagship show, I do sort of a stats of the day for each race in case you don't have access to Formulator. They basically just come out of there. And then there's a second track that generally Howard does picks for, where you'll get his ABC grid, his price plays, and then his caveman ticket as well. So it's definitely worth it. And then if you go on there, there's some great articles too. We know Paul Halloran, our other great co-host who writes for the Saratoga Special. He was an Eclipse Award honorable mention. He was in the final three for an Eclipse Award. Some of his articles are up there as well, so you can go to our website and you can find them pretty easily.
I also wanted to show, Pete, I don't think people take advantage of this enough because people get caught up in the here and the now, but we have a great, here's our YouTube page. Of course, you can see we're live right there, but we won't click and we won't watch ourselves. We have a lot of different programming. Bettin and Boozin is a relatively new show with some great young guys that do a fantastic job. We talk about sports betting, but this betting strategy section, I think is really important. Davey, I don't know if you've taken a look at this betting strategy section too often, but we talk about evergreen material, about how to make bets, contest play. We had a nice interview with Todd Pletcher last month, myself and Paula Halloran. And then we also have a section about the fantastic Adelphi Racing Club. You guys should check that out as well. And then I'll also just have what we did for the Breeders' Cup last year. So anyway, it's important for people to see that, Pete, because we have a lot going on in the podcast other than just what's in the here and the now.
Yeah. Sorry, Dave. I don't know if you're going to say so. I was just going to say, and one thing is a lot of people get a little confused by the ABC grid and sort of the theories behind it and sort of how you put one together. And we do that generally in our actual betting, even though on the show we give out sort of caveman style tickets. So if you follow that ABC video or if you watch that ABC video, it gives a little more insight into why you use that as a structure, how it works, how you put a ticket together or how you put a grid together. And then I think maybe when you look at the power picks, you'd have a better understanding of why we're structuring it that way. So I think that's always a good one for any bettor to pick up.
Davey, did you want to add something?
Sorry,
yeah,
Davey.
I was making a point because I made notes on every horse going through, and I was just looking through them as you were talking, and I was just looking at Russian Emperor, a former O'Brien horse that ended up in Hong Kong. And the connections brought him out for a very easy Group 1 in Qatar, because Qatar's trying to build up its local racing. It won the race. And obviously it didn't go back to Hong Kong because it's in the neighborhood, and it's come for this race. It's a big, long shot, and it won't win. But I asked the question to myself then, is that, when you just before you mentioned, Chad Brown, Pletcher, etc. I mean, where are those guys with their turf horses in this contest? Is it always just have to be like, the Baffert and the best dirt horse goes to the Dubai World Cup, and then it's just left to the Euros and the Japanese guys? Where is Chad Brown? He has turf horses? He goes to Saratoga and Belmont and all the rest of it. Why doesn't he send a couple over? Does he not ship? What's the answer to that?
Do you want to answer that question?
No, you go ahead. I was just going to say,
Okay.
Davey, by the way, that horse is taking money here, 7-1 here in our market.
Russian Emperor?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
well, okay.
Interesting.
Go ahead. You want to take the Chad Brown
Well,
question?
I can-
Howard?
It's not taking money in your market. It's Hong Kong. It's a Hong Kong.
True,
horse.
it's in the Hong Kong. Yeah. But I mean, in our market, you're not
commingled-
getting as much on it. Yeah.
Our commingled pools, yeah. Davey, I can answer your question on Chad Brown. This is mainly based on fact and slightly opinion. So we had Chad Brown on the show. We interviewed Chad Brown. You can check out that interview. Pete, maybe you could find the episode number if you could, so we can count that out. You could just go back and take a look at it. It was in December. It was early December, so maybe or Thanksgiving weekend, right before Thanksgiving. But Davey, here's the answer to your question. First of all, Chad Brown mainly points to the summer campaign, to Saratoga and races, in New York and the big races in Kentucky. So his better stock is pointed towards the summer. Number one. Number two, Peter Brandt, who of course well, is one of his main owners. But they run mainly in the States. I asked Chad Brown specifically, are you thinking about going more over to Europe? And he didn't dodge the question, but he basically said he just wants to stay in his own lane and dominate U.S. races. I also think, and he didn't say it, Davey, but I think you would agree with this, unless he's got a real special horse like an Italian or some of his, Tepin, Tepin wasn't Chad Brown, but a top horse. He's not a dumb guy, Davey. He knows he would get pounded in Europe. It's just a fact. Your horses over there are just better than ours in general, and I think he just is happy. And the purses obviously are very good in the United States, at least in the allowance end. Now, once you get to the group and graded stakes, the purses are good over in Europe. But I think he just wants to stay in his own lane. I do say it's a little bit disappointing, though. To be honest,
I agree with you about Europe, but it's this. I'm not talking about Europe. I'm talking about Dubai and March. When the European horses are undercooked themselves, and this is a chance for all the various jurisdictions to come together, and the Japanese have answered the call, and so have the guys from Hong Kong, which made me say to myself, well, how hard is it to put a horse on a plane in New York and fly to Dubai for a turf race?
The other thing I'll say, Davey, is and Pete can comment on this. I think we're going to take a break, guys, and come back and take. I know we have a lot of people in the chat. We appreciate. We're going to answer a bunch of questions in the chat, Pete and Davey, when we come back from the break. But Pete, in general, getting back to Davey's question, the American turf horses in general have been down, at least in my opinion, the last year or two. The older horses, the older distance horses, especially. We've seen some talented filly and mares. I mean, Italian was good, but not good enough to win at home. So I don't think she's going to go to Dubai and win. I just don't think the stock is that good right now at the top end in the United States.
Well, it's also there's probably a little ego that goes into it too. You don't want to go over there and get your brains bashed in when you could stay here and dominate our turf races. And you go over there and and maybe on a world stage, you don't look as impressive. I mean, that could have something to do with it, but I agree with you in terms of the stock. I don't think we've had many horses, and we see it in the Breeders' Cup. The foreign horses come over, the Europeans or whoever now come over, and they win all our Breeders' Cup turf races for the most part. So it makes sense not to send them there when you can stay here and win for yourself and win for your owners. By the way, it was episode 209 was the Chad Brown episode.
Davey, check that out, episode 209, and everyone else with Chad Brown. And I ask him that question directly, more about Europe, not about going to Meydan or Saudi. Guys, we're going to take about a 2-minute break. Let Davey and Pete get a little stretch, get a little washroom, get some food, feed the dog, whatever they got to do. Rub the dog's belly, Pete, or perhaps, or someone else's belly. I don't know, whatever. And we'll come back in a few minutes. We'll take your questions and comments in the chat, and then we'll be back for the $6 million Dubai Shima Classic with the monster Equinox. Don't get anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Adelphi Racing Club, offering a truly personal racing experience. Looking to own thoroughbred racehorses and win at the highest level circuits? We're not just a syndicate, and our members aren't just investors. We are partners. Experience the Adelphi difference. Join the club today. Contact us to get a taste of the Adelphi experience and come hang with us this Saratoga meet.
You're on mute.
I am muted. We are back. Sorry about that, everyone. We are back with approximately 11 minutes to post to the Shima Classic. They're going a mile and a half. It is a $6 million race. I am your proud host of the HHH Racing Podcast, Howard Kravitz. Thank you again to everyone. We've had huge turnout here, not only on YouTube, but also on Twitter. If you're watching us on Twitter, highly recommend you go over to our YouTube channel, hhhracingpodcast.com, so you can join in on our live chat. Guys, let's speak in the live chat. Let's go to it right now and take a few questions from our great viewers and fans out there. We got Damon Mims is singled to Equinox in the last leg of a pick 3. Damon, I like that. Good luck to you. Trish Smith likes Rebels Romance, thinks he's sitting on a big race. I know Pete likes that. TC Markham, TC, thanks for joining the show. How about a little Rebels Romance Equinox match race? Davey, you would take Equinox all day in that affair. Equinox by how many lengths, Davey, in that match race?
4 lengths.
Okay, an easy 4 for Davey.
Yeah.
Trish wants to, again, Win Maryland, the only mare in the race. Davey, your quick thoughts on Win Maryland again?
Yeah, I like the horse, but when, Group 1, I think the race, the last race was in Hong Kong, and, much easier race, But again, knowing when to place your horses. So, Chad Brown's got a point. He places his horses where he knows he can win, and same again,
We have Tobin Gattus. Tobin, thanks for joining the show, buddy. He likes Cafe Faro. That'll be in the next race in the Dubai World Cup. We'll talk about that quite a bit. And then Jay Metz wants to wish good luck to Damon. Jay Metz, thanks for joining the show, man. Greatly appreciate it. Pete, this is a good segue to talk. Actually, Steven Vanderbrook. Steven, thanks for joining the show. He's got a huge try singling King Equinox on top with, I think that's Rebels Romance, Shariar, and Win Maryland. Am I correct about that? I think so. With those 3 again. Pete, I just played a Dutch Exacta, and we'll talk about what Dutch means here in a second. A Dutch Exacta, Equinox over Shariar and Rebels Romance. I have more on Rebels Romance due to the lower price, a little bit less on Shariar. I'm not going to play a try. To me, this is either, I don't know, it's hard to bet this race vertically, Pete, if you think Equinox is the goods.
Yeah, I played a try, but I also have 3 horses on the top line, so I'm rooting for one of them not to be Equinox, but I have Equinox, in case he's as good as we expect him to be. So, but it's not that easy. You have to sort of go skinny. And if you want to bang sort of a straight try or, 1 horse over 2, there's ways to make money, but you just can't. This isn't a race to spread if you think Equinox is going to run away with it underneath in a vertical.
A popular bet, Davey, of course, here, and perhaps it's becoming more popular. People like it in Hong Kong, other places, is the double. Pete, how would you play the double? We haven't talked about the Dubai World Cup, which, of course, is the last race. It's the big one, 12 million. How would you play a double for fans out there looking to perhaps play a double on their ADWs?
I guess it's difficult to say until you know who you're taking in the big one. If you're taking Country Grammar or Algiers and you like Equinox in this one, then you can look at the do we have projected payouts for here? I didn't look to see. We do, right? So generally,
I actually could show them on the screen, but I don't want to mess with that right now. But I could give you some.
No,
ideas.
but I think that generally that's what you would wind up doing first is seeing.
Sure.
Let me see what it pays. Does it pay more than betting Equinox to win in this race? If you have a really strong opinion in the next one. Go ahead.
To Algiers, to the Equinox. Davey, you could comment on this perhaps. Again, This is in the commingled pool. So we still have 6 minutes here, Davey, because handicapping is one thing. Betting, of course, is something completely different. Right now, the lowest double, Davey and Pete, into the World Cup is Equinox with Country Grammar. That pays 7 to 1. That's $7 for $1. And then you got Equinox at 11 to 1. Now, for me, 11 to 1 on Equinox Algiers, Davey, is a steal for me. Thoughts, Davey?
Yeah, well, you're looking at, again, the current price, and it won't necessarily be that. Well, you've got a lot of weight with the Hong Kong bettors here, haven't you? And right now, Algiers is 9.6 on the international market because the Hong Kong guys are betting the Asian horses and the jockeys that they know.
Wow.
And so maybe you'll get value on that. But again, that horse has to come from the car park. It has to be a great horse to come out from there. So we'll discuss the technicalities of that race next. But
Panthalassa is 17 to 1 with Equinox in the double, Pete. And then after that, you've got the 14 horse, who I don't know off the top of my head in the next race.
That's the winner. So what's going to happen there? What's the 14 paying?
That Ushba Tesoro, a horse that I think is interesting that I know Davy's against, but we'll talk about that. So the lowest right now is Country Grammar at 7-1. But if you like Algiers, Pete, to me, in fact, as I'm speaking to it, I'm punching it right now. I'm going to play a little double for 11-1 on two horses that I think are very likely. Well, more of the 7, more Equinox than Algiers, but 11-1. That to me, that's.
I mean, honestly, price. if you like Country Grammar, 7-1 is. I mean, you're not getting anywhere near 7-1 on Equinox, obviously. You're not getting anywhere near 7-1 in our market on Country Grammar. So if you love those two, I would play that over even betting a win bet potentially. Again, depends upon what your style is, what you like to play, but 7-1 on that is more than fine to play for me too.
Davey, we're going to obviously talk about the Dubai World Cup, but do you have a thought on playing a double as we're approaching about 3 minutes?
Well,
left?
I mean, Equinox is currently even money, so he's come in from 5-4 on the UK. You've got different types of value here, so I'm just looking right now at the prices. If you give me a second,
take your time.
Give me a second here.
Yeah. We got about 3 minutes to post here. Again, we're here with Davey Lane and Pete Visco. Yeah. We got a lot of fun here talking Dubai World Cup card. There's been some big upsets and some actually some favorites have just gone down in flames so far. Davey, what you got? All
right. So the prices you've got Algiers 7-2, Country Grammar 7-2, Theo Keynes 8-1. That's probably because he was tipped by a big newspaper guy here in the UK. Tesoro is 17-2. John Lightbulb was 14-1 in from 20s. Panthalassa's drifted from 9s to 14. Cafe Furrow is roughly the same, 16s. Crown Pride 18. Everyone else 18, 20, and that's it. So your value there would probably be Jun Lightbulb and Theo Keynes if you wanted to do a double. Both of them have good draws. That's what I would do. I would do Equinox into those two horses.
I think that makes sense. These are the current odds on Ladbrokes, which is a European betting site. They've got Equinox at 11-10, Pete. Rebels Romance 3-1 is crazy underlay to me. I mean, there's no way this horse should be 3-1 in this race. Musadov 8. There's Shire 14. Win Maryland 14. I mean, basically it's Equinox or who knows, Pete. I mean, that's pretty much what the. Oh, sorry about that. That pretty much Equinox or question mark, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm on Rebels Romance, so I'll go the other way. Yeah, and I actually just put in double. Now that you were talking about it, I put in doubles with Rebels Romance and 4 horses in the next race. So.
And what price are you getting, Pete, on Rebels Romance right now on the win end?
It's 4-1 here right now.
And that's fair value for you, obviously.
I didn't bet a win bet. I just bet the try. I haven't been betting win bets today. I've been betting trifectas mostly.
Got it. All right. Well, they are approaching the gate here. I'm expecting to see, and as is Davey, an Equinox processional. It's never easy, Davey. I mean, it's a big field. These are human beings on top of 1,000-pound animals. You never know. But it sure feels like Equinox is the class of this field. And if he runs his race, Davey, I think he's going to be very tough. I do not want to see him as far back as they're going to the gate. But this is 1.5 miles, Davey. So there is a bit of a longer run into that first turn. And there's time for Christophe Lemaire to make a decision. Yeah,
I mean, straight win bet for me. And all the losing bets so far today, which there have been, are negated by the one win bet. I go into the World Cup basically even.
Okay. Well, for those people who are not familiar, Davey's very honest and modest. Pete, as you know, he has been rocking out in this show time after time, tipping out 60-1s 2 years ago with Reshun. Davey's an excellent handicapper. We all have our tough days, Davey.
I'm on that one forever, you know.
Oh,
which,
for sure.
Which always makes me feel good when I say I like a horse and Davey goes, I'm tossing that one. So that always makes me feel pretty good.
All right, here we go, guys. The Dubai Shima Classic, 6 million. Will be Equinox or will be another upset? Here we go. Equinox seemed to jump well. Actually, Lemaire is getting him in a little bit of a forward position, Davey. I like that. He's using him just a little bit, Davey.
Yeah, it's good. And he's got him on the lead, right?
No, he's actually.
No, he's on the lead right now.
Oh, he is on the lead. I'm sorry. Yep.
Yeah.
I like that. He's on the lead. You've got the number 2. Let me get the. Sorry, you've got Musadov in second, tracking. In third, you've got, looks like he's at the 9. That's a huge long shot. Zagreb. And I'm trying to see where Shahryar is. In behind that, you've got Westover with a nice spot. Shahryar is fine. This is an easy lead for Equinox. Davey, I'm just going to call it how I feel. He's going to have to fall down to win from here. I think, unless he's just no good, he should win this.
Yeah, he should definitely win this.
This is not. If you have any other horse, this is not the race you were looking for.
Yeah.
Pete, quick thoughts. Is that Rebels Romance pulling on the outside there in the all Dolphin blue?
Yeah, you're going to have to, if you're on Rebels Romance or anyone coming from the back, you're going to have to move early and get into contention, or this horse is going to kick away and there's going to be no chance.
Again, they don't show the fractionals, but I mean, he's being pressed a little bit, but he's also very much in hand. They reached the far turn. It's still Equinox. You still got Musadov in second. No one's really making a move right now. Botanic is in third on the inside. Lemaire has an absolute stranglehold right now, Davey, on Equinox. Here comes Rebels Romance, right, Pete? On the outside, making a little bit of a move. But Equinox still in hand. So is Musadov, though. Rebels Romance is being asked, and now we're going to find out. They hit the top of the stretch. Equinox still in hand, has about a length and a half lead, is starting to pull away, and we are about to see a show. Christophe Lemaire has not moved a muscle. He's got a 5-length lead in mid-stretch. There's a horse coming from behind. I'm sorry, don't know. I think that's Win Maryland, I believe. No, it's not. It's Westover. Equinox, as easy as possible, winning by 4.
Right.
Whoa, Davy Lane. This is a serious 4-year-old colt.
Yeah, as I said, that was the, if you're ballsy enough, if you make one bet today and you double your money, and you don't get distracted by all these exotic things, because that was just a certainty,
Great ride.
I'm speaking as a guy who did get distracted, but I knew enough when I knew a good thing that this was the way to basically pay for all the other plays earlier today.
Absolutely, Davey. Great call. Look, I think Westover got second. I did not have him in the exact. I'm a little bummed about that, but Westover actually ran pretty well, Davey. I believe he's the one that got for second with Ryan Moore. Musadov again. Davey, this is why you have to pay attention to PPs, watch replays. Musadov last time in Saudi got to the lead. It was a much weaker field. It just didn't look like that could repeat. He was way over bet in this race. Actually, it was 14-1. I take that back. But these other horses, Pete had absolutely no chance. It's easy to say this horse was tons the best because he won by 5 and got loose on the lead. But even if he had to come from behind, Pete, it sure looks like this is a superstar in the making.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that looked like it on paper as well. But I hate this reminds me of an American turf race. I hate these kind of races where you let the best horse, and we do it in America where it doesn't even have to be the best horse. But this is one where you let the best horse get on an uncontested lead. And what do you expect to happen? I mean, there's not much else that's going to happen in a race like that. So it was, to me, that's more bad race riding behind. I'd rather take the shot and try and beat him than you're going to just run away anyway. Like a horse like Rebels Romance had no shot because he didn't run well anyway, and Mostadef wasn't going to get him from the 2-hole. The other horses who were up close just weren't going to be good enough. So you wonder, there was no chance this horse was losing once he hit the top and got an easy lead.
Yeah. Davey,
and probably wasn't anyway. And probably wasn't regardless, but.
Now, Davey, as a punter, you got to be careful. This was not the strongest field. Is this going to overrate Equinox, or do you think he could compete with the best horses in Europe this summer?
It may do, but he was in third gear all the way around, and then he slowed down to second gear for the final furlong. So I mean,
Yeah.
if he put it into fifth gear, he would have won by 20 lengths.
Yeah, I think we sometimes talk a little bit too much about the field. It depends on how you beat the field. You can only beat whoever's there, and there's times when that comes into play, but sometimes you're just a good horse and you're just better than the field and you make them look worse than they are. You know, it doesn't matter sometimes. You can put a great horse in a better field and they're still going to run their race.
Congratulations. Damon Mims hits his pick 3. Good job, Damon. I'm alive on my pick 4 with my single. Let's see here. Let's see what we got comments. Matt Miller wanted to come. Matt Miller, welcome to the show. He said if Equinox is even money and Algiers goes off at 5-1, you're getting bad value on that double, right? Because $1 bet to win and dumping. But you got less than even money. What did Equinox go off at, Pete, in our markets?
I mean, Equinox was 3-5, and Algiers is 3-1 morning line here. Yeah. So if you're looking at those odds,
there's another argument for the fixed odds. You know, I mean, it was 5-4, and I took it. Now you guys could have, you know, what did you get? You only got what the price was, 3-5. So
yeah, you only get the price. Yeah.
It's the jacket. Thanks for joining us. David Mims, let's go, David. Nice job, buddy. Great. That is a tremendous pick 3, guys. I mean, to me, I thought Equinox laid over the field. Lord North figured, you know, for the most part. And then you had to find Sibelius. I guess Sibelius is not easy, but I mean, easy to say after the fact, but I don't know. I mean, how you could play a 5-by-1, right? Pete, you had a $25, you can get back, what is it, 140 something? I think great job, Damon. Excellent job.
Great. Yeah. Very
and again, we got Shahzad here again. Davey, I don't know what the plan is. Let's say Davey, you now own Equinox. Congratulations, Davey. I'm giving you Equinox. What do you do with him?
Well, if you're Japanese, you're planning on going to the Ark, right? I mean, this is what they do, right? So
no, it's what you do, Davey. You own him now. You own him, Davey.
Well, if I own him, I take him to the Ark, and I probably send him to a prep race in Germany. Why not?
So you rest him until Germany? You only 2 more starts?
Well, you try and get him over some maybe like good to soft ground somewhere where you can. You don't run him at the peak of the summer. You get him into somewhere like, you know, Ireland or Germany and try and get some, you know, good to soft ground, and then get him ready for Paris, because that's the what the Japanese want. That's what they call what is it, the Holy Grail, you know.
Yeah. So maybe do you race them maybe on British Champions Day, perhaps, Davey, or no?
Irish Champions Day or something in Germany or somewhere. I mean, every Japanese horse that's come over for the last, let's say, 10 years has either gone to the French preps, they've gone to the Irish Champion Stakes. They're tossing it around. So they've got to come up with something. But maybe this is the best one they've tried now in some years, and it certainly looked like it.
Would you send him to Ascot, Davey, or no?
Probably too early. Well, you could do.
Now, because for him, for the Japan horses,
July, August, September, October, right? Do you? No.
For the Japan horses, they're on a different the summer. Or that'd only be Australia. Is the summer like the winter for the Japan horses as well? Is that only Australia?
Only Australia, Southern Hemisphere. So yeah.
Okay. So it'll be fascinating to see. Pete, we have no idea, but this felt like, and Davey said third gear. This feels like a 130 time form US, like a 110 kind of buyer. This is the kind of horse that if they decide to go to the Breeders' Cup, which I have no idea, but it is in Santa Anita. So in theory, of course, from a Japan-based track, that is closer, obviously, than going to New York. This horse obviously handles firm. I'd love to see this horse in Santa Anita. And we have no idea, but you would have to think at this point, he would be a factor just about any race in the world, including the Arc, Pete, you would think.
Oh, sure. Yeah, of course. I mean, there's no doubt about it. A horse that talented, you could do whatever you want, especially now that Davey owns him. So we can follow him on the show with Davey as the owner. So that's even, I guess the only thing, if you go to the Arc, Davey, I don't know what he's run only on firm turf up until this point. So I guess the Arc sometimes comes up funny. So you'd have to, it still would be a question mark. You just never know how a horse is going to do if it comes up boggy like the Arc sometimes does.
Yeah, I don't know what the percentages are, but something like 6 out of 10 are good to soft, something like that. But
Yeah.
a couple out of 10 they get good to firm or good.
Yeah, yeah. It's
So,
just what usually you see. Usually we're used to seeing some of the European horses more where they're used to running on sort of the softer ground sometimes, whereas this one up until now you've never seen anything but firm, which is it's just something to think about. I mean, you consider everything if you're trying to bet against or even ride a horse like that.
yeah.
All right, guys. There's not much else to say. That was the most impressive race or effort of the day. We'd all agree with that, Davey.
For sure.
Pete, you'd agree with that?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
No question.
Okay. Guys, we have approximately. I thought it was about 11:30 our Central Time. It should be about 25 minutes. I'm guessing. I'm trying to see if. By the way, the Equinox Algiers double got bet down. Not because I did a Matt Miller large amount, but I did bet a reasonable amount. Got bet down to 9-1. So I'm alive to a 9-1 double to Algiers for X amount of money. We'll just leave it undisclosed at the moment. I'm also live to a pick 4, selfishly, so that's good. Davey, I'm a little bit disappointed because, as you know, we played a pick 6 with Philip that we're way out of it at this point, but this just seemed like an obvious single. And when you get an obvious single come through and you're dead in a horizontal, that always stings a little for me. I don't know about you, but
yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's great to play the pick 6 because you're trying to hit the 5 figures, 6 figures. But as I said, sometimes maybe the best thing to do is just to try and double your money, when you've got a real good thing,
Yeah. Well, he went off 3-5 here. So what were the final odds on Equinox in your market, Davey? The final odds, closing odds?
The final odds were, let me tell you now.
Okay. As Davey's looking that up, they were 3-5 here in the States. So
who are you live to, Howard, in the pick 4, by the way?
So wait, Davey, did you have an answer to that, Davey?
You on the pick 4, who you were alive to?
No.
Who he was asking?
Final market odds in the UK on Equinox.
Yeah, it was even money.
Okay, they got
That's
much
nice.
better price, really, when you think of it that way. We got Damon. Damon, you're welcome, man. By the way, Sylvain is here. Track record, Davey. Track record for Equinox in hand, Pete. Wow.
That's nice. That's
impressive.
impressive.
I mean, I know it's very firm, but that is very impressive. And we have Singapina. I do not know what that says, but I'm hoping it's something. Obviously it's about Usama Tesoro is a horse that he likes, obviously. Thanks very much for joining the show. Matt Miller mentioned I ended up getting good value on Algiers at 9-1. So thanks, Matt. Now the horse has to win, obviously. Guys, we got about 23 minutes to post. So Pete, let me answer your question. I'm alive. So the pick 4 I gave out on the show. I hope everyone at home, anyone at home play my pick 4? Comment in the chat. I'm alive for the show pick 4 to the 14814. But in all honesty, Pete, on my own pick 4, I also have, where is it? Sorry. I also have the 7 and the 13. So you can add the 7 and the 13 to those on my own personal pick 4. What's the lowest pick 4? Is it the Country Grammar, Pete? Do you have it there?
I don't see the payouts on TVG
Not yet.
for some reason. So yeah,
They don't have it yet.
Oh yeah, the prior race still hasn't been official on TVG. That's probably why. Yeah, I'm live to 1-4-14 as well in the pick 3. So we'll be we're at least rooting for similar horses to come through. So that's always positive when we can do that.
Absolutely. Guys, let's roll right to the Dubai World Cup, and we can. I don't think we need a break. If one of you guys needs a break, feel free to. I think we can roll right through. $12 million. The Dubai World Cup. It's the feature race of the day. It's not the most expensive race in the world, which is crazy. You have to go to Saudi for what is it, 20 million or some insane number that Panthalassa got a purse of. Let's show race 9. On the bottom of the screen, you see the scroll for my picks and Davy's picks for the Dubai World Cup. Davy's going 13-8-1. I am going 1-8-4. Pete, before I go to Davey and the PPs, do you have a top 3 you want to throw out to the punters out there?
Yeah, mine was 14-4-1 were my top 3.
Okay, so Pete is going 14-4-1. Davey, you're going to go with the 13. That's T.O. Keynes. Now, this is a horse that you and I have been talking about quite a bit off air. Right. This is a Japanese horse. Let me go to him right now. Finished second. I have a bunch of replays to show, but I'll let you talk about your top choice first. There you see. Whoops, sorry. Let me put up the PPs. In the American PPs, he's 12-1. I see right now 16-1 in the commingled pool here in the States. Davey, this is a 6-year-old, a very nice older dirt horse. Look at the breeding, Pete. Sinister Minister, who was a real nice speed horse and won, I think, the Bluegrass, if I remember back in the day at Keeneland. He's won $4.5 million. Oisin Murphy. This is who you're going with on top, Davey Lane.
Yeah, he's the preeminent Group 1 beast in Japan, really. Strong dirt pedigree, as you said, Sinister Minister. And he didn't go to Saudi this year. He went to Saudi last year. Didn't work out for him. Instead, he went to what they call an NAR track in Japan, which is a sort of the country track. It'd be like someone from Santa Anita going to Pleasanton or someplace like this just to get a race in, right? So he lost that race by a short head to a horse who was also in this race, who had taken a crack at this. But to me, that was a
I've got it right. I've got it right here. Should we show it, Davey? I've got it right here.
Show the press,
yeah, let's show it right now. Let's do it. So this is the last race that T.O. Keynes ran. T.O. Keynes is the 3 in this race right here, I believe. And Ushba Tesoro, who wins this race, who is coming from smaller tracks, is the 5. So I don't even want to take us through this race. Again, you got T.O. Keynes, the 3. Ushba Tesoro is in this race, the 5, Davey.
Yeah, as you can see, there's not many horses in that race. What, like 10, 8, 9, 10, something like this? So it's not a monster field of 16, right? And where are we now? So we have, is it on slow motion there? You're closing in. So T.O. Keynes he grinds out. He's grinding, and that's what he does. And he's grinding in this case. He doesn't quite get up, but he's well clear of everything else. He loses by a neck. That's fine for a prep, because if you're thinking about it, this is the plan, and this is the horse that's won the prime time Group 1 JRA race in Japan. He's won other Group 1 dirt races. He gets Oisin Murphy, and that's a serious booking. He's a horse that's been in big races in Japan, that he's been boxed in. He's been dealt with traffic. He's dealt with dirt, and he grinds through, and he keeps coming and keeps coming. So in this particular race, he's got a nice cozy draw of 6. The main protagonists, anti-post protagonists, are all drawn wide. They'll have to use a lot of gas, petrol to get across. He won't mind them coming across. They'll be used up, and then he'll just he'll just be coming along like the Energizer Bunny. He's got that kind of like boom, So that works for me. He's been tipped up by one of the big tipsters here in the UK, which is why his price went into about 8-1. I don't know what it is on the international market right now. So he's a good horse. So I'm putting him on top.
Now, June Lightbulb, Davey, and we're going to show the replay of the Saudi Cup in just a minute. This is a horse that I tipped out a month ago. He was not good. Mm-hmm. He was not a good tip out, obviously. It didn't work out. You can see on the PPs there, Pete, he finished 7th, and he really had no excuses. But we're going to show the replay of that race, and I want to say a few things, Dave. Actually, I'll let you talk about June Lightbulb first. Why don't you talk about this horse first, why you like him at a price here in second, and then we'll go watch the Saudi Cup, Davey.
Well, when he was brought into the Group 1 company, I mean, he hadn't been a Group 1 horse, but he was, and he subsequently beat T.O. Keynes into 4th place with a late kick. So he's a horse who could as opposed to a grinding horse, he's a horse that can come with a rattle, and it's good to have the two types of horses in your mix, at both T.O. Keynes and June Lightbulb. So both with inside draws, you've got one who's going to grind on, and you've got one who can kick, who can see a target and aim for it and come by. So that's the type of horse he is. So if you've got the video of that, that's probably, this is the Saudi race. This is him finishing sixth, I think. Is this right?
Yeah. Well, the reason I wanted to show this,
the
reason I wanted to show this, Davey, is because you also like geoglyph in this race a little bit. So I'm going to let this whole race run through, Davey. We're going to watch this whole race. We have the time for it. This was a month ago. This is won by Pantalasa on the front end. And I'm going to try to point out horses as best I can as we show. I think people should pay attention a bit to geoglyph also, Davey, a horse you like who has to come from the outside and use a lot of gas early to get in position. So I'll just let the race run through and we'll talk about it. Geoglyph is right here, all the way on the outside, who had to be used early. Right here is Geoglyph. June Lightbulb is on is right here, getting a very good trip. Here's Panthalassa, and then you've got Taba's in here also, and also you got Crown Pride in here as well. Davey, Panthalassa's got to break all the way from the outside this time, going 2 turns today.
Yeah, and that should hurt his chances. And it's a different type of dirt. We have to remember the Saudi dirt is much closer to turf, according to all the experts. A bit more fluffy. This is dirt with a capital D. They're going to get in Meydan. So I'm ruling out Panthalassa on that regards. But there's Geoglyph there. He came right across from a wide draw. Right. All right. He finished 4th in this race, but he held on for a long time. So, and he was first up. So Geoglyph is a serious chance here. So for a few weeks, Geoglyph was my anti-post play. I came to T.O. Keynes and in the past week really.
This is Cafe Faro that I'm circling. Got a great ride, I think, by John Morera. Did not a lot of running to me with a perfect trip. I'm against Cafe Faro, Davey. I think he's a miler. I don't think he wants to go this far. This is Taba here, who we know didn't run great. This is Crown Pride, who stuck out a little bit wide and hung around a little bit as well. And then we're going to see Country Grammar coming from the back. I think this is Country Grammar right here coming from the back, but I'll let it run.
Don't forget Emblem Road here, who broke badly in this. In this race.
Yes, Emblem Road didn't break well. I don't have the number, but he's going to be coming from the back of the pack also. But Davey, okay, Davey and Pete, Pete, let's go to you. It sure looks like that today this race is going to be run completely different than this race was run a month ago in terms of the early speed and the pressure and all that.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to ask Davey that. Davey, do you think? I mean, I assume Panthalassa, regardless of what you think about this horse in this race, his only shot is to go to the lead. Do you think there's going to be another horse who maybe is going to contest that lead?
It's not about his only chances to go to the lead. The horse's instincts, he's hardwired to go to the lead.
No, and I agree. Yeah. But I didn't know if this time he won't get such a clean pace up front, or do you think he'll still get a clean pace up front? You don't think he can do it?
He'll go hard and he'll try to cut across. And if he can't cut across, he'll just stay on a wider path probably.
This is Country Grammar. Here's Emblem Road, by the way, Davey, coming on late, I believe, there.
Yeah.
And June Lightbulb just didn't run. I mean, I'm not going to make excuses for June Lightbulb, who's right there, just didn't run. But the trainer said he's trained better. It's more distance. It's 2 turns, and there's a lot of speed. Yeah. What do we got in June Bull right now, Pete? In our market right now, please.
14. So taking some money.
Okay, that's not bad to me.
So look at it like this: Ryan Moore retains the mount. He has good relationships with the people in Japan. He goes to Saudi. He knows it's not working out. He's not going to kill the horse in the final 3 furlongs because he knows he's going to Dubai in a 4 weeks' time. He's thinking ahead. Maybe he could have got a better place, by 1 or 2 spots, but fine. No one's going to remember Saudi if he rolls in first place tonight, are they?
Davey, just to let you know, no one has 6 out of 6. There are a bunch of 5 out of 6s. There are also some horses that pay 4 out of 6, just to let you know.
Okay.
That's in the pick 6. Now, the pick
all right.
4, I actually don't see it, Pete, right now for some reason. So I guess they don't have it up yet, at least what I'm looking at.
No, I don't see it either.
I'm on Twin Spy. I don't. Okay, well, we'll get to it. Okay, so that situation. Now, guys, let's show. I think we got like 14, 15 minutes, I think, here. Let me check at our time. Oh, we got 10 minutes. So I want to show one more replay, guys. And the one more replay that I'd like to show is the Al Maktoum Challenge Round 2, Davey and Pete. This is where Algiers won. Now, Algiers, to me, is a serious horse. I'm not going to show the whole race. We'll just show a little bit. And then we'll go to the PPs, Davey and Pete, so we can talk about this horse. But Algiers is right here in this gold. This is the start of the Al Maktoum Challenge Round 2. He's got speed, but he can rate. And what I like about this, especially Davey, is he was wide. He was a little bit wide in this race, and he still ran huge. Now, obviously, today's race is much, much more difficult. But look, he gets pushed into the 3, 4, 5 path here, and he was able to tuck in a little bit. But if you watch him on the turn, he just absolutely blows by this field. I'll go and fast forward it. He's right here. Again, I know this is much easier company, Davey, but he did this in the race before that. They've seemed to found a home for him on the dirt. He's just very impressive right now.
Yeah. I mean, he's a beast. He's by Shamadal. I mean, again, it's not necessarily doesn't scream dirt, but he's kind of stocky looking, isn't he? He's got that look, of a dirt horse. It's, I'm not the expert on this, but maybe I should.
But he's got the turf acceleration. I mean, I love that combination.
I mean, that for sure. Yeah, he's got the
this. I don't care who he's facing, Davey. This is really damn impressive to me. I know it's an easier field.
He's facing a horse, Ben Doog. If you were following all the Meydan people in like January, this was one of the local horse that they were all hoping for big things from. So Algiers has put paid to that pretty quickly.
You've got him in third. Pete, give us again your choices as I go to the PPs. Actually, let's talk about Algiers. Let me show the Algiers PPs. Now, Pete, he's got a break from way outside. It looks like he's got enough speed to break and get over. I have a hard time believing James Doyle's going to be in a dead cent because there's a ton of early speed in this race. I think he's hoping to get the same trip, Pete, that we just saw right there.
Yeah, that's what I would imagine. And hopefully for him, he's going to sort of get first run, you would think, on Country Grammar. And, Country Grammar will probably be coming from a little bit further back. But, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, this horse looks great in those last two. Again, it's a step up in class to probably the best field he's ever faced, and that's the only question. But on pure talent, and if you care about figures, this, like we talk about in the U.S., if you look at the time form ratings, they're increasing every race. They've gotten better from this year, which from 5 to 6 is impressive when a horse comes back at 6 years old and is running their best races. So this horse is in peak form. And right now, 7-1 here, Davey, in our market, Algiers. So that's nice.
Davey, in here, Algiers is 7-1 and Bella Azul is 7-1. I don't know. That seems very low on Bella Azul to me.
Yeah, again, as I said, it's Hong Kong money in your market.
Yep. Country Grammar is 2-1, Davey. And Pete, look, he's a really nice horse. He could absolutely win this race. I guess if there's a lot of speed, which it looks like, and you want a closer, this is the one. I would never bet a win bet in this race at 2-1 on Country Grammar. I just wouldn't do it. I would need like 7-2 or 4-1 personally.
Yeah, sure.
Do you feel that way, Pete?
He likes the 1.25 miles, which I think is, but I mean, yeah, I think that's way too low against this field.
Davey, Algiers was a turf horse. They switched him to dirt. He's a 6-year-old. Nice job by Simon Crisford.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen here? Do you think they'll just try to sit off and then make that same move on the turn?
He could win. He's the favorite. I'm not against him. I'm just against him from the draw point of view. And these are a couple of good Japanese horses, I think, June Lightbulb and Teo Kane. So my idea of a bet would be to box those three in a try, maybe Geoglith underneath as well. But I don't see anything else. As I said to you before, the other Japanese I think is on the one that beat Teo Kane's is a turf horse who did well on the country tracks and the rolling the dice. So I don't want that. Crown Pride is interesting, but every time he looks like he's going well in the final few furlongs, he sort of fades away. So I'm against him. So it narrows it down. Emblem Road would scare me because he got a bad break, but they didn't bring one of the hot Panamanian jockeys over from Saudi. They just brought some guy, and I'm not. It's bad on me that I don't know the local Saudi jockeys. I should learn more about them. But so they didn't book Dettori or anybody else. So yeah, so I've narrowed it down to 3, and I'm playing those 3 in a box try: June Lightbulb, T.O. Keynes, Algiers. Well, maybe I'll box in Geoglyph as well.
I like it. We got 4 minutes to post. I accidentally showed video. I don't think I'll get arrested. I think it'll be okay. Pete and Davey, will you do me a favor because I need to make a bet? So can you guys, Pete, kind of chop up what you would do vertically along with what Davey was saying just for a minute, and then you could talk a little about the American odds right now for people betting here in the States.
Yeah, it's funny. While you were talking just then, I was putting in a vertical bet. So
okay, there you go.
I was putting in
people at home understand, right? Everyone at home. Go ahead.
I wanted to have something in. So I was doing more of I think I have 3 horses on top. Then I have 3, 5, 7 in second, and then I think 9 in third. So I just went with a wide spread here. I'm with you, Davey, where I think a lot of I think underneath, whether you like Algiers and Country Grammar as your top horses, which our market seems to, I think behind that, there's a ton of horses that I think could just come up and get second or third. I mean, that's not really breaking any news, but I mean, even like Bendog or however you pronounce that horse always hits the board. You maybe don't want to play that horse to win, but the horse is 25-1 here. I don't know what you're getting that horse at overseas, but if you can get 25-1 on a horse that hits the board, if you're looking at a try, then you can put a horse like that in, and it could potentially blow the price up.
Yeah, he's 50-1.
He's 50 there. Okay.
In from 80, but good jockey on him. He was considered the big horse at the start of the year, so maybe.
So I'll give you our odds, and you can tell me your opinion on whether the market, and obviously it's not just the U.S. market, but we have Country Grammar. I'll just give you the top 5. We have Country Grammar at 2-1, Algiers and Panthalassa at 6-1. Then we have Vela Azul at 8, and after that is Cafe Faro at 11. Those are the top 5.
Right now, Country Grammar's favorite here 5-2. Algiers 7-2. T.O. Keynes 15-2. Next in the market, Ushba Tercero 9-1. Panthalassa 10-1. June Lightbulb 14-1. Cafe Faro 16. Crown Pride 25. Velo Azul 20. Geoglyph 20. And the rest.
So they're pretty different. Our markets obviously are pretty different depending on what.
They're very different, yeah.
So I know, like, you have T.O. Keynes where you're getting 12 here, and you said what, 15-2 over there is what you said, I think.
Yeah. And I'm trying to get the thing is frozen.
You're trying to get one in too. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm almost.
No. Take your time. Take your time. So I think the way
he likes to talk. He could talk for half an hour. It's all good.
I could find something to talk about. So again, for our bettors, if you're looking at it, I mean, obviously it makes sense that Country Grammar in our market is taking the money. I mean, that's the horse that we know is the defending champion. It's a horse that likes the 1.25 miles. So it's not surprising at all that Country Grammar is the favorite. Maybe the 2-1 is a lot lower, but that was also the morning line, so it wasn't unexpected. Algiers has floated up, was 3-1 morning line. Now you're looking at 6. So getting 6 on that horse, if you like it, I mean, that's a pretty solid price here. And again, Panthalassa, I think, is taking a lot of money, probably because of the win in Saudi, and people know that horse just from that race. But again, I'm not sure the pace today, or I'm not sure, like you said, the dirt itself is maybe the reason to play against that horse. And now if you're throwing out a 6-1 shot, it's even better.
Right.
All right, I'm back. Wow, I got a lot going on in this race. So just again, full disclosure, everyone knows I'm right and wrong, just like the next guy. Hopefully more right for everyone at home. Been a little more right lately, fortunately, in some contests and other things. I've got a I've got a $25 double. I guess the dollar amounts don't matter. Who cares? I've got a double with Algiers, live double. I've got a pick 4 to, let's throw this pick 4 up here again, just so maybe some people at home played this pick 4. This is the pick 4 I gave out. I'm live to that pick 4, including I've got also the 7 and the 13 myself. I'm alive to there. And what I just did is a little win bet on Algiers because I like the price, Pete. And I did my back wheel reverse key trifecta, only Algiers in first and second with a whole bunch of horses underneath. So in generally speaking, Pete, that's what I did. I played Cafe Pharaoh. If Algiers does not win, I need in my try 4-7-13, which I know it's Country Grammar, Geoglyph, and the T.O. Keynes, maybe. I can't remember, but anyway, that's what I have in case. Yeah, that's what I have in case Algiers doesn't win.
Yeah, I have Algiers, Country Grammar, and Uspa Tesoro on my top line in my try, and then a bunch of other stuff underneath. And I also have them in an exacta. We're getting close. I saw some people asking how long in the chat. It says 0 minutes, but now they're chit chatting, so we don't see I don't know if they're entering the gate just yet. So we might have a couple minutes still.
It's not going to be too long. By the way, Pete, if you see our numbers, we have just on YouTube alone 363 people watching right now. Thank you so much. If you're new, welcome to the HHH Racing Podcast. We have podcasts throughout the week, Tuesday nights, Thursday nights. Wednesday night, we have a show called Bettin and Boozin, which also involves sports betting and horses. You can go to our website, hhhracingpodcast.com, for all the information. We also have a fantastic tip sheet called Power Picks. Look below the video player. Highly recommend you look into our Power Picks. We've been crushing it for 2 years now, so we really appreciate Pete and Davey. We also shout out to you, man. We really appreciate you as well taking the time to be with us today. We'll talk for about only a few minutes once this race is over, and then we'll close it out. But they are about to approach a gate here for the $12 million Dubai World Cup. Davey, you first. The favorites right now in the market in the UK.
Okay, favorites in the market in the UK. We have Algiers and Country Grammar. Let me just go back to that. I was just on another. Country Grammar is the favorite right now at 9-4, so he's come in. Algiers has come in as well. He's 10-3. T.O. Keynes 8-1. Tesora 9-1. Panthalas 10s. June Light Bulbs 14s. And then the rest are double 20s and above.
Hey, Howard, what'd you do? Did you just bet like 50 grand on Algiers? You just jumped from 6 to 7-2. That must be your monster bet.
It might be someone we know, but it sure as hell is not me. I can tell you that. No, it's not me. Algiers just took a huge hit.
A huge jump.
How many people are watching the show at home there? Wow. Algiers is now 7-2, Davey, here in the commingled pool, international pool.
Yeah.
Country Grammar, though, Country Grammar, the solid favorite at 2-1. Then you got Algiers at 7-2.
By the way, T.O. Keynes just took a hit. Maybe it is.
Maybe everyone's listening, buddy. T.O. Keynes just went down to 8-1 along with Panthalasa. Go ahead, Davey.
What the Hong Kong people call green lamped. That's when you get it's gone down in price more than a quarter of the odds. So the Hong Kong board lets you know exactly what percentages of people are playing the horse.
As they approach the gate, comment in the chat. Who do you like in the Dubai World Cup? Who you need to win? Who's your best tout? Comment in the chat right now. Phil Conti is here. We've got so many people in the land of milk and honey. Doesn't like Fox. That's okay. Just come to us. I don't know why you're watching Fox. Watch the HHH Racing Podcast. We got so many people here.
Bring up that Michael Lawson comment. That's a smart one there.
Which one? There's a zillion. I don't know.
12.
Oh, there we go. 14?
There you go. There you go.
There you have Michael Lawson. There you go, Michael. All right, they are halfway into the gate. You at home, they might already be completing the gate. It's the $12 million Dubai World Cup. Good luck, Davey. Good luck, Pete. Good luck to myself. I personally would like to see Algiers win, although I could cash a nice pick 4 with some prices. I think, Dave, we both need June light bulb to run well. It sounds like for sure. And Dave, Pete, who do you want to see win here? Country Grammar?
No, I'd like to see the 14.
Oh,
the one whose name I'm completely blanking on.
Bella Azul? No,
Ushba Tesoro.
Tesoro.
Tesoro. Yep.
Okay, Ushba Tesoro for Pete Visco. They're about to, we got a few more left in the gate. It's the $12 million Dubai World Cup. Stick around, folks. When the race is over, please stick around. We'll have about 5 more minutes of comments and wrap up the show. Good luck in the Dubai World Cup. Last to load. Here we go. Larry Colmus with the call.
Even break. Ben.
Panthalassa got a little work to do.
Panthalassa did not break great and is rushing up. If Panthalassa wins, that'd be a miracle. They are flying. They're all sending from the inside. Algiers is getting exactly the trip I want, guys. Sitting like in 5th. This looks like a very fast pace, though. Panthalassa trying to cross over, and I'm not sure he's even able to do it there. As the 10, Remorse actually gets to the lead. This has to be very fast. Right in behind is Salute the Soldier. You've got the number 2 horse in behind, Bendu. So you got a lot of big prices up front. I love where Algiers is, guys. And Country Grammar, Pete, is a lot closer. He's like mid-pack.
Yeah. I mean, and this is what you want. You have relatively cheap speed up front, a decent pace, we assume, and the closer's not sitting too far behind. So if you're rooting for the closers in this one, it's setting up perfectly for you.
Algiers bet down to 5-2, Pete, to end
Unbelievable. I told you.
They're about to hit the far turn. I think we're about to see a pace collapse. Here comes Algiers, and Country Grammar is trying to follow. Country Grammar is being asked a lot, Pete. I'm not sure he has it right now. Algiers is still in hand, about to take the lead as the number 10, Remorse, is going with him. Algiers, Ben Doog. Algiers still in hand. Algiers is about to take the lead. Ben Doog is running a monster race. And here comes, I believe, Ishbo Chisoro.
Come on, yes, Ishbo Chisoro. Come on, baby.
Is coming from behind and might get this horse along with the 13 T.O. Keynes. Ishbo Chisoro goes by. Algiers trying to hold on for second.
No,
and Emblem Road is flying. Come on, Ushba gets. Oh! I don't have the try, but Ushba Tesoro. Pete.
Son of a.
Pete.
I never curse on here. Son of a bitch. I needed.
What happened, Pete?
I needed who the hell was that in third, holding for third?
Emblem Road.
I didn't have them. I tossed Emblem Road, I think, last minute.
Oh, no.
And not last minute. I was trying to not have a huge ticket, but whoever that was in third. Oh, that was T.O. Keynes. Thank you, Davey. Come on, man. He couldn't hold for third for me?
No, he didn't.
I don't think so, Pete.
No, he didn't hold for third. Emblem Road got him. Listen, Algiers wins the race if he's drawn in 4, 5, or 6, you know?
I think you're right. So the race completely fell apart. Davey, gosh darn it, Davey Lane. Why did I listen to you about this horse? Davey, I love you, but I talked to you this morning at like 4 in the morning. I'm like, what about Ushba Tesoro? He just beat T.O. Keynes last time. You're like, oh, he comes from provincial tracks. He can't. Now the pace set up for him, Davey, but you have to admit he ran huge.
Yeah, he ran huge, but T.O. Keynes ran huge too, you know? So
we're watching the replay. Algiers ran a winning race, guys. He was up close to a lightning fast pace. The stride on Ushba Tesoro was awesome. And that was T.O. Keynes.
I thought it was locked
in
up
behind
here.
There, Pete.
I thought it was locked up here.
He went to the inside, just didn't have it. I think Emblem Road almost got second, guys. Now we got issues with the camera here.
TVG, the feed is all messed up.
The feed's all messed up.
Luckily, in the last, while there were 0 minutes, I put a win bet on the 14 as well.
It's going to be 14-1-6-13. I'm 99% positive. Yeah. I assume everyone's feed right now is messed up, Pete. They got
mine's
the winning time, by the way, 2:03. That's pretty slow. The race completely collapsed. The final time, 2:03.25. Again, it's going to be, unless something unusual we don't know, it's going to be 14:1:6:13 will be the running time. Davey, I'm really upset with myself because I played exactly how I wanted with Algiers first and second. It's not your fault. I didn't know. If I had taken a closer in this race, now they got it fixed now, Pete. If I had to take a closer, I didn't think it would be that Ushbu Tesoro. I thought it'd be some others. I feel like I should have had this trifecta. What did this horse go off at, Pete? 13-1.
13 or 13.
Can I selfishly say good for me for the pick 4? It's going to pay. This pick 4 is paying.
Yeah.
Anyone who played my pick 4, how about a shout out to Howard for the pick 4? Come on, give listen. I got to celebrate it, Pete. Davey, it's gonna be a nice pick 4. I think. I don't know.
I think so.
Okay, so who ran the best race? You might say Algiers, Davey.
Algiers did run the best race, and I would have played Algiers with, as they say, with both fists if he had drawn inside, but he didn't. So I didn't play him other than in tries, and I had him in a try with Teo Keynes, but Teo Keynes was out of there, so that hit me as well.
We've got Damon Mims. Shout out to Pete for his call. Nice job, Pete. Let's see. We've got Michael Olsen. Pete Fisco is the man. I like it. Listen, way to go, Pete. Good job, Pete. Nice job. Pete, what would you mind? You don't have to give us dollar amounts. What'd you have there? Just a win bet, or?
I had a win bet. I had a small exacta, and I had to pick 3, but I had to try, man. I had a few other horses in the 3rd spot that I had just in the 3rd spot. And Emblem Road was one. And then I didn't like the price of the ticket, so I chopped a few of them off. And that was a little disappointing.
Michael Olsen, is this the pick 4? Because I still don't see prices.
I don't see him on TVG. I don't, all right,
unless he's getting it from somewhere else. Michael Olsen, if you're still there and listening, if that's for the pick 4, let me know. That seems a little low to me. Not with a 3 to 5. That's probably about right, actually. Although it doesn't match with the pick 3, though. If you do the parlay at the pick 3, it should be closer to like 1,000. But I don't know. Anyway, if someone has, Michael said yes. Okay, hey, that makes up for our pick 6 and then some, Davey. So I'll take it there.
Yes.
Oh, he said it's on first bet, Pete. So that's where he got it from. Christine Race. Fabulous pick 4, learned a lot, spending time. Boom. Thanks, Christine. Appreciate it. They're interviewing right now. Davey, I'm going to let you go first. And Davey, once again, man, really, really appreciate you being on the show. You gave us great insight. These are very tough races. You and I were both wrong earlier in the card quite a bit, but had some good opinions later on. Your final thoughts coming out of this race with the Japanese horse winning, Algiers running big, Equinox, anything else, anything that sticks out to you on the card?
Well, what sticks out to me is that maybe sometimes there's a lot of information out there, and you've got to trust your own stuff, and that's always the case. And don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I mean, if I had my time over again, I would have everything I spent today. I would have just played it on Equinox and just been happy. So that's the thing. So in the end, I'm back to where I was, because I played a big win bet on Equinox at the time, but you got to take the chances, So, that's the debate you have with yourself. Sometimes you can play those exotic bets and you don't have an Equinox to save you. So, that's the thing. I always knew Equinox was a winner, and I always knew no matter what happened, I wouldn't be down on the day, because that was a certainty,
Yeah, I mean, it's always easy to second guess. You'll go crazy in this game, Davey, right? If you second guess yourself. You loved Equinox all along. You did not like Seraphos as a favorite. Some other good ideas. Davey, I don't know when we're going to talk to you next. I really appreciate it. Everyone on the show, appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You got anything from Shatin? Someone wanted something from Shatin this weekend from you.
From me?
Yeah.
I you know what? I haven't studied Shatin, so
okay, don't worry about it.
Go on the Hong Kong Race Radio and listen to what Jenny Chapman has to say. She's the equal of Maggie Wolfendale, so
okay,
she's good. So when she gives a good report on a horse, trust it.
Well, and I'll close out with this, Davey. Maybe today didn't go as well for you. You got to see Elton John in person last night, right? So things aren't that bad.
Yeah, not too bad. It was a good night.
All right. Davey, love you, buddy. Thanks a lot. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Good to see you, Davey.
All right. Davey Lane, there you go. Awesome as usual. Pete, as we end the show here, they're watching the overhead of Ushba Jasuro just blowing by the field. I think Algiers ran big, like you said, and it just didn't look like T.O. Keynes could sort of sustain that bit on the inside. Emblem Road was flying late. It's nice that it looked like it'd be a pace meltdown, and it was. So at least we saw that, Pete. But congratulations on your score. Congratulations on my
yours is
on
a
my
bigger one.
score.
Yeah, yours is pretty good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I ended up having a good day. I ended up being up for the day. I lost some things on the side. We lost our pick six. MSMK Hart, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Pete, let's just end it right there. We had a lot of people watching. We hope, Pete, let's get these people on a continual basis, right? We had a record number of people watching. We cannot thank everyone enough. Please watch the HHH Racing podcast Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursday nights. Look into the website, and our Power Picks information is below the.
Hit that subscribe button while you're on.
Yeah,
here.
smash. What do we?
Yeah,
please smash that subscribe button, everyone. We want to get to 2,000, and also hit that like button because that'll tell people that watch YouTube and like horse racing that this is a great show. Pete, you got the final word before I close it out.
Well, another great day. We love doing these, and I think the people like them because we don't do enough of the international content. So I think that's why we get the good viewership we do whenever one of these comes up. So I think we just keep doing it. And it was a great day. We saw some great horses. Hopefully we see some of these in the future in the US at some point, but they'll be, we'll try and keep up with some of these in the overseas races as well, hopefully.
Absolutely. For my good friend and co-host, Pete Visco. Pete, thanks a lot for jumping on today.
Always.
This has been your host, Howard Kravitz, an epic episode 240 of the HHH Racing Podcast. Ushba Jasuro wins the 2023 Dubai World Cup. Take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and good luck. Bye-bye.
If you have not followed his Triple H Horse Racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.